Peggy 16.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux.
Have a safe journey, and please, be careful.
That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Maybe we don't belong here. But neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
That blue will be your guide. Test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Walk free and bear the light for others to follow.
Come, let me relieve you of your burden. You've suffered enough.
The sky burns. The final days are truly upon us.
Bereft of hope, and now dignity. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared.
I won't lose them. Not a one.
But are we truly so powerless that our only choice is to flee?
We've come too far to back down now.
Wheresoever there is suffering and despair, you appear to fulfill your duty as defender of this star.
There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
It will be ours again! A world free of sorrow!
Let the curtains fall upon this, the final chapter in the tale of the star.
To have you at my side, it means more to me than you know. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Given what lies ahead, I did not wish to leave for later that which I could do today. After all, tomorrow is never promised.
Hello everyone. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the channel if you're new here, and yeah, welcome to the discussion that we're going to have today. I've got two very special guests with me today. We've got the British Trash Panda, and we've got Almighty VenVen. They're both VTubers. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a moment. Let's just make sure we can see everything and everything works. Because the last thing we all want is scuff, right? Because scuff never happens, right? Let's make sure that everything works, and we will go... Hey, I exist. There we go. And then we also have VenVen and Trashy should appear there now, if they're there. So, we got Almighty VenVen, so say hello if you can. And, and also British Trash Panda.
New streams, I guess, and I'm here.
Okay, might need to do that again because scuff. Scuff. That was me. hang on. Let's make sure we open correctly there. There we go. Incident. It has now been 0 minutes since the last incident. You can say hello. Yeah, you'll have to say your hellos again because I'm dumb.
Okay, sorry about that. Hello, I am Trashy, the British Trash Panda variety streamer and long-time Final Fantasy XIV player. Just want to check that you guys can actually hear me because I'd completely forgotten that I'd set up push to talk in Discord. I was talking to you guys earlier and you couldn't hear a thing, so hopefully you can hear me now.
I can hear you now. Hi, I am Almighty VenVen. I can go by VenVen. I'm a variety streamer as well, and I also have been playing Final Fantasy XIV for a very long time. I'm very excited for Endwalker and waiting to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Excellent. As I say, they're both VTubers. VTubers, which... I did have their avatars, and they were ready and working, but they're not working at the moment. So you just get the voices for the moment. If you want to introduce yourselves a little more to anybody who doesn't know you, maybe, how long you've been VTubing, guys, and all that sort of stuff. I obviously know British Trash Panda quite well. I've known him for a few years, but VenVen, you're quite new to me, so a little self-introduction for just how long you've been VTubing and things like that.
Well, I started streaming about 2 months ago now. In fact, I think August 11th was when I started, so I haven't been doing it too long. But I've been playing games for like pretty much all my life, and this is actually the first time I've done anything related to like YouTube videos regarding games and even streaming in general.
Fair enough. Well, it's very good to see you, very good to meet you. To answer your question from earlier, the way I pronounce my name is Atrum, but
Atrum.
I have no problem with people saying Atrum because so many people say Atrum instead, so don't worry about that.
I've been getting it wrong for years then.
It's fine. I'm so used to people saying a lot of people, because like the second part is Starstryder, a lot of people say Astrum, and like they mix up the two. That one bugs me.
It would have been easier to just call you Starstryder than Atrum, right?
Yeah, exactly. But so while I try and fix these avatars then, that were working absolutely perfectly fine, shall we just jump right into it then, and we'll get started. So obviously we've got Endwalker coming out. I know it just says in big letters on there, available 7th of December, but the early access is on the 3rd, so this Friday. And to be honest, I honestly don't know why they give us a release date when they give us the early access that you know full well everybody's going to go on anyway, right?
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because it changes your job actions too, even if you don't have it yet, right?
Exactly. So it's very odd how they advertise that at times. I mean, obviously initially it was meant to be 2 weeks ago, right? So it was kind of a shame they had to push it back. Look, I have no problem with them pushing it back at all. I think they could have told us a little bit earlier, because obviously it's a lot of people will have booked time off for this, and I think a lot of people probably lost out on this because they couldn't adjust their holiday, me included. So yeah, because what happened was they says, oh, we're gonna we're going to announce this, we're going to do that, and then by the way, we're going to push it back, really sorry, and it was a day after I'd just locked in my holiday at work, so I was like, no, it's the worst, but it's one of them. I know there's a few people that are going to be, there's a few people going to be a little bit disgruntled about that, but I would rather they push it back and make sure that they've got that quality testing done, as it were, that they said they wanted to do, so... Yeah, I don't see a problem with that per se, you know. Oh,
Yeah,
holy
I
crap.
think. Oh,
Thank you,
Well,
Mike,
thank you
for the
very
10
much for the
gifted
gift
subs.
sub.
It's very much appreciated there, Mike. I've suddenly hit my sub goal for the month. Thanks very much. It's really appreciated, very much so. So yeah. So I don't know where you guys want to start with this. Do you want to start literally at the beginning? Do you want to go through it with like the trailers and things like that, or in fact, you know what we can discuss first of all? That sneaky drop by SE. Was it last night or this morning? Was it where they've dropped the 1.0 trailer? Why have they suddenly done that with the 1.0 trailer? I wonder.
What, 1.0 trailer? Did they?
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yesterday.
yeah, they re-dropped the 1.0 trailer, and everybody's now saying like, what's the meaning of this?
It's probably some guy at Square Enix just being like, "Oh, this wasn't on the channel. I guess I'll re-upload it." Meanwhile, Reddit's going on fire.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, I saw the other thing that came out for them kind of like last night or this morning about the pre-apology, which I guess we'll get into a little bit later on.
Yeah, the apology relating to really sorry if the servers are going to be dead, essentially.
Yeah, kind of like getting in there early, saying, sorry that everything is going to be on fire. You'll probably be able to play eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there you are, Ven.
Yeah, I've got one. I'm just fixing the other now. Bear with.
Yeah, 1.0 was before A Realm Reborn, back when the game was terrible. I did play it back then, and it was absolutely awful. I tried to like it, I really did, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't.
Yeah, I think a lot of players had that right. They had that. You know, I really want to like this, but I just can't in its current state. And I don't think it'd mean anything bigger than like the re-release of the trailer. I don't think it's going to be a release of the trailer to say, oh, we're going to do something like and put it in the game. I don't think it's that. I think they're trying to point us in the direction of something on there. And my guess would be, if I was to hazard a guess, and then I would say that it could be something related to the fact that the second half of the trailer takes place in Silvertear Lake, and I think that's going to play into this expansion at some point.
I had the same exact thought.
It is my thought.
I hadn't thought it through that much.
But mostly because you didn't realise they'd released the actual thing, right? So it's fine. So we've got you partially working anyway. I've got you partially working. You exist on the screen now. You just don't light up when you're speaking.
Oh, I think we did. We did just a minute ago.
There you go. In fact, you are now. There you go. You're on to test, Finn?
Test.
Hey, there you go. We exist. There we go. Go us. There we go. No technical issues whatsoever, eh? No technical... Anyway, moving on. So, in terms of characters then, obviously the launch trailer raised a lot of red flags for a lot of the characters. One in particular at the end, which we will definitely discuss. But I kind of want to start with Warrior of Light. Now, well, it's us. We're the Warrior of Light, and I think what is kind of your guys' overriding thoughts on the role that the Warrior of Light will play, and not just like meat shield, because Paladin's meat shield. And do you think it's going to be? What do you think are going to be the key moments for the Warrior of Light in this expansion? Do you think?
Oh god, I wasn't expecting a damn test.
Do you want to go first,
that's
Ben?
a good...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm more wondering how our relationship with as Shadowbringers mentioned our relationship to Azim.
Yes.
Um and Azim was against the summoning of both Hydaelyn and Zodiark, so I'm wondering if the Warrior of Light is going to make this a similar choice and maybe end both.
Yeah, it's a possibility for sure. Because just as he folds his notes there, um, I think I think there's going to be an underlying plot that is, you know, we're going to the moon, right? We're going to go to the moon, but to get to the moon, I think we're going to have to go through a lot of hoops, and I think those hoops are going to include Charlatan, Xenos' plot, or Xenos and Fandaniel's plot, as it were, and I'm not sure quite where the pieces are going to fit in per se, but I think there is going to be a plan that is we neither us nor somebody else can do that plan, and I think that Xenos is going to be a big part of that in terms of. There's a lot of speculation with how it can go with Xenos. It can go one of two ways. I think most theories boil down to Xenos is going to just become Zodiac, right? And Xenos is going to be final boss with Zodiac. That's the overriding theory. I have seen a second theory, which is that actually Xenos could join us at the end. Now, I don't think I follow that one, but I have seen a lot of people now starting to say that based on the launch trailer, because Venar, or who we think is Venar, so the Lady of Light, as you've just alluded to, we're all against summoning of everyone, right? So how's that going to work?
Yeah, it's a little strange. And I think a lot of people, I think the Xenos thing started a lot with that one key art where he's like with you in the Scions. Like that was really weird.
Yeah, exactly. That I think the key art especially was kind of one of the things that made people go, huh. That and the fact that the other thing that key art obviously had was the Lady of Light at the top, at the very bottom, our very own Tataru, who is obviously the ultimate evil. And anybody who says otherwise is wrong.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make nice with Xenos. To be perfectly honest, I don't think it's that. No. I don't subscribe to that theory either. All he's interested in is fighting us, and that's kind of his only motivation in life at this point is to have another fight, and then presumably if we both survive it, then another one afterwards. And that's kind of what he is. He's a little bit one note as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I think that's.
See, as far as going back to how we're getting to the moon, well, I'm pretty I'm of the opinion that we're going to get to the moon via one of the towers. That there's going to be something in there that's going to get us to the moon, because well, if you look at the image that's in the background there. It looks the whatever that is, spaceship or whatever, kind of looks a little bit like part of the tower does on the outside. So I'm thinking that is part of one of the towers, possibly why the benchmark trailer shows everybody flying towards one of those towers on various different mounts at one point.
Yeah, and I think. I think also
Peggy 16.
No, we're not gonna do the sound on that. It's going to be playing in the background. So I think those towers, they're definitely going to play a massive role in the story. They're obviously there for a reason. We know that they're the summoning points as well, based on what we've done so far, with Beast Tribesmen being held there. And I assume at some point we'll come across human encampments as well, maybe at some point. But a lot of people that I've seen talking about the ship on the logo seem to think it's a more elegant ship that we're going to hijack of some description, and that it'll link into what we see in the launch trailer, which was with Xenos apparently standing over us at one point in the chair, almost like he's just defeated us or we've just done something that's drained ourselves. And the leading theory is that we're a key for something to happen. What that key is, I don't know. Whether that's a key that allows Xenos to go to the moon before us, and then we have to play catch up afterwards and get this ship or whatever it is. Or as you say, it could very well be one of the towers or something to that effect that we hijack.
I actually think it's the Void Arc.
Oh, that could be interesting. Although there's a lot of holes in the Void Arc right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
We might have poked a few holes in that when we went through it, right?
Just
Sid can fix it.
It's fine. I'm sure Sid will be absolutely fine. That would be quite funny. So the first tower we see is in the area Nim, right? So it makes sense that we go for a Mackie ship, right? You know.
No, you know what I think possibly controversial for thinking about what the final boss of the expansion could be.
Okay.
Hydaelyn.
Oh.
I think you may be onto something there, and I have seen a couple of people mention this. It's not a widespread discussion I've seen, but it's very possible that you're right. And the reason that I also think that might be the case is because even if we defeat Zodiac, Hydaelyn can't exist either, because we're against all forms of summoning. So at some point we need to do that, which would set us against Vanar, which would set us there's so many possibilities we can make educated guesses, right? But we're not going to know until it comes out. And you know how SE loves those red herrings in the trailers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That they love those red herrings. Speaking of red herrings, do we want to get right into it with the Alphino flags, as it were?
Before that, I was going to explain the whole Hydaelyn theory.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
Just for a second, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Just before we move on, reason being is that if nothing else, Shadowbringers has shown us what happens when either light or dark or any of the other elements just become too strong. And if you get rid of the darkness entirely, then the light's going to take over, and that's no good either. And so if you're kind of doing one on darkness, you kind of got to do something similar to the light side as well. So I think that in the end, we're going to have Hydaelyn as the final boss, either of course as a crystal, or possibly even taking the form of Minfilia.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that would be sad.
Yeah, that would be quite the conflict, wouldn't it, for us?
Yeah, just a bit, but I think it's going to happen, because we can't continue going down light all the time, because it's going to be a case. I think the theme of it is kind of going to be everything in balance. When we get to very much to the end game of it.
So I think the only other model they would possibly use for a Hydaelyn base boss, so it could be based upon Minfilia, right? But the only other one, I think, because they've now introduced her, this Lady of Light, or who we think is Vanar. I think she's more likely going to be the model, though she isn't exactly completely unlike Minfilia, right? Original Minfilia, of course, not Minifilia Reen, but yes. Because I think we got a sneak peek. So I don't know if you've done the raids, both of you, from the Eden raids.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we got a sneak peek of what we could be in for with a Hydaelyn fight, which lends credence to your theory as well, Kashi, to be honest, because we've had the dress rehearsal, pardon the pun, for when Reen dressed into or changed the outfit to the light aspect, right, during the fight. So yeah, I think we've had the dress rehearsal for it, and I think you could be onto something with that, if I'm honest. It's a distinct possibility for sure.
I think it's possible too, especially since there's that one piece of art by Amano that they said is like almost like a, what's the term? Kind of like a hint.
Thing.
Yeah, the one where it's of Hydaelyn and
One's above
Zodiac.
and one's below, is it?
Yeah, I'm kind of like speculating that and then Yoshi P talking a lot about seeing a shimmering of platinum in the dark. a moment of that. I'm wondering if Zodiac and Hyland are actually just the same being, or if they coexist together, like they're two beings in one body.
I believe you're talking about this picture, if you can see it on my screen in a moment.
Yes, that one.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's like two sides of the same coin.
yeah, and they've kind of reposted this, right? Quite recently again, not quite as recent as the 1.0 trailer, but they've kind of alluded to this again, right? As you say, and if a lot of people, I mean, if you follow any of Larry's stuff, right? Larry,
Larry Czar.
Yes, he's discussed a lot of stuff just based on this picture and the key art combined, where you've got the Lady of Light at the top and Tattoo at the bottom. So it's I love the key art that we got actually. In fact, can I get that Endwalker key art? There we go. I'm gonna put that on there. Is it gonna be real low res? Of course it is. There we go. No, it's not. So yeah, so that's the key art that we've got. And I actually think the placements of certain characters mean things, right? You know, we're there, we've got the shield, and it's supposed to be shaped like a crystal, right? The group.
Yes, and Alize is in the middle because she's the best Scion.
So, you are an Alice fangirl.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, this is the bad time to tell you that I think she's going to buy it on this expansion.
No, she won't because she's awesome and...
You're just going with her getting injured in the trailer, aren't you?
No. So, I think that this is going to tie right into that Alpha Node discussion I was just talking about as well. So, I think the red flag with Alphino is a massive red herring. And I actually think it'll be Alice. Out of the two of them, it makes more sense for Alice to be the one that does go, because she's more devoted to the Warrior Light in terms of she'll do anything for him to make sure that he survives, or he or she survives, right?
Yeah, but I could argue the same thing for Alphino too, because he likes to take after his grandpa, and we all know how that ended up.
True, but Alice is very headstrong, and they've been, as a narrative, they've been sort of grooming Alphino to be that leadership role going forward, right? So, I think that to me says it's a red hair. Obviously, I'm not going to know until it happens. I think if they do kill off a twin, I think Alice is more likely. Now, I'd rather they didn't, because they put a lot into her character in the last couple of expansions for sure. But yeah, she's obviously good. It looks like she's basically, for want of a better phrase, she's our right hand man, right? Throughout this entire expansion, based on everything we've seen, the launch trailer, the the benchmark. She was with us fighting Xenos, right? So she's going to be with us all the way at every location. She's always going to follow us, right?
Right, and I know a lot of Endwalker is inspired by Final Fantasy IV, and Final Fantasy IV and twins don't really work together very well.
Yeah. So I think they alluded to that in the launch trailer, right, where they had them in the cold together, huddled up, like they'd done something to get stuck.
Right.
And that I wonder if that's like a peek into that Palamporan moment.
Yeah, and the minions that you get for the collector's edition and also the pre-order, it kind of leads me to that too.
Yeah, for sure.
I really hope we don't lose either of the twins, but you know who I hope we do lose?
Please go on.
Thancred?
You could probably guess. Urianger. Did
anyone
really miss him? Ever?
Look, he speaks in Shakespearean tongue and all that sort of stuff. I actually don't think Urianger is going to have a massive role in this expansion. He's had the spotlight in the last two. So he had a massive spotlight, obviously, in Shadowbringers, and actually had quite a big spotlight in Stormblood as well, with the Warrior of Darkness storyline, right? And we were following him with the, So he's a one-trick pony at this point, though, right? So he's double-crossed us twice now. Double-crossed. So he double-crossed in order to make sure that we could actually do the thing, so he could double-cross the other people back, and he's done that twice now, right? So
yeah, I trust him.
Yeah. So based on that, I know that in my mind, Urianger is one of the stronger members, mind-wise, in terms of, he's got his goal, he's set on his goal, and he'll do whatever it takes to do it, even if it takes him down a weird path. But I think in this situation, Urianger is not going to feature much, and I think a lot of the focus is going to be on Alphino, Alice, and this Lady of Light.
Yeah, I don't think he is going to go, but to be honest, I just want him to. I want to be shot of him. I want to get rid. I want to be rid of Urianger. He's annoying. And you're right, he's probably not going to go because he spends all of his time in sort of nice and safe in the background, pretty much, doesn't he?
Yeah, playing Go Fish with his cards.
Get sort of involved in any kind of combat or anything like that. I'm very hard pressed to think of any time that he has done ever, really. I think if we're talking about science, and I think possibly going to go, I think that we could end up losing Ishtola.
I wouldn't believe it.
Partly because they've kind of alluded that her time is limited previously. That she's kind of, that she wasn't the same. It's not just her sight that she's lost after coming out of the, I think it's called the live stream, wasn't it? And that they kind of said at the time that her time is limited. So I think that at this point her time might be up.
So I don't think Ishtola's going to go because she's still the poster girl of 14 in Japan.
She's got like 6 lives left, doesn't she?
Yeah, and the bit you were just saying there about Trashy, they were alluding to the fact, obviously, she went into the live stream and she's blind, right? So in order to see, she uses her own ether to see ether, and that's how she how she quote unquote sees, right? So she is losing her life force as she does it, right? And my counter to that would be Matoya's never going to let that happen. Matoya, I think, will sacrifice herself to save Ishtola at some point. Whether it's this expansion or not, I think it will happen. I think Matoya will be like, no, you're not going to die before me. Like this. And Ishtola will be really pissed off that she's done it, but then obviously she'll survive. I think Ishtola will survive, but I do think this element will come into play in some way. And there is obviously still a chance that she could go based on that. That's why I've marked her on my sheet as a yellow flag. But I think out of the members that we've got, the 2 that I think are most likely to actually go, for me, are going to be Thancred and Kryl.
I can see Kryl. I'm not sure about Thancred, because I think if Thancred would have died, they would have done it in that particular scene in Shadowbringers. I think that would have been the spot to kill Thancred off.
So the only problem with that was they didn't have a replacement tank for what's it called? Trust. Whereas now they do. Now they've got a ready-made tank who we've started seeing creep into the story more in Fordola. And I think she's going to be Thancred's replacement tank later in the story. I think Thancred's going to go. Because his story's over, right? His story arc and his character arc is over at this point.
I think it could continue because, this kind of goes into what I personally think is under Silvertear Lake. So I don't know if you want to save that for later.
There is that, yeah. So the other one, Kryl, I think either Kryl's been done dirty in all the promotional material, or they've left her out for a reason. Because in all the promotional material, Kryl's not there, and I know they have to do a certain limited amount of characters for certain things, right? But considering she's basically one of the mainline scions, and we're now back in the source, she's been left out, and I'm like, okay, why? And obviously she's now in Charlie, and she's in the Shark's Den, right? She's in the she's in the water tank with the sharks over in Charlie and trying to sort things out over there, and I think Kryl is really in a tight spot, even if she realizes it or not. And I think she's one of the top contenders to get knocked off, as it were, in this expansion. I'd rather she didn't. I'd rather we had a bit more time to explore her character a little bit more, because obviously we know she knew Alpino and Alice back in the past, and obviously Graha as well. So I'd like to see more of her, but it looks like she's either been sidelined for a reason, or something is going to happen, right?
Yeah,
it is possible because one of the things about Kryl is that other Scions can kind of play her role. I think I don't know if she necessarily has anything that only she brings to the table, as it were. And
her echo.
So her echo is the only other unique thing that she's got, right?
Yeah, hers is that special one where she could track people's souls, because she uses that to hunt down Estinian with Tataru.
Yeah. So she can use she has a more keen focus with her echo than anybody else other than ourselves, right? And maybe Fordola at this point, because Fordola's got that ridiculous what's it called? Oh god, what's it called? The resonant. She's got the resonant echo, hasn't she? Which, by the way, I was hoping for some character interaction between those two at some point, because Fordola is basically using the resonant version of Kryl's specific echo, right? She got it.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. And Xenos too, right?
I think Xenos was already. I think Xenos already had it at that point, but we definitely know Fordola had it from Kryl.
It's been a while since I've seen that cutscene, so I can't quite remember where Xenos exactly got his, or at least what triggered his.
I don't think it's ever...
Yeah, it's been a while for me as well, unfortunately. I'm not quite with you on this one. I think this particular subject has kind of slipped my memory a little bit.
Yeah, so in Stormblood, it's never quite explicitly stated where Xenos gets his resonant from, his resonant echo from. We just know that he has it. I don't know if he has it before or after the Kryl incident. And
he got it after, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah, yeah. And he was what? So it was because it was implied that he may have had it before purely because he was too powerful, right? But then we don't really fight him properly, and he doesn't really activate his resonant until we fight him in the palace. So actually, I guess Fordola might have been the test subject to see if it worked, and then he's used it based on that. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, but then it's also possible, I guess he's had it his entire life in a sense, because he's always had dreams about the final days.
Yeah, which was going to be the other point that I said, because he has Ascian blood. Is that a factor as well? Speaking of Xenos and Ascian blood and bloodlines and things and the resonant, so I'm assuming you've both seen there was Anima's coming to FF14.
Oh, I got things to say about Anima.
yeah. So my question there is, who are they going to use as the vessel for Anima? Because FF10 obviously was very explicit. They said it was Seymour's mother, right? So
right.
If we're going to go down that same path, is this going to be Xenos' mother? Because we've not met her yet, not seen her. There's been no mention of her. I wonder if that's going to be a thing, or if it's just going to be an instance and it's a random person and /or it's not even a person, it's just a summon.
I have a one that not a lot of people I've seen mention, but I personally think it might be Alfino and Alice's mom, because it was just a little bit weird. Chanel said she's in good health, she's perfectly fine. And from what
I did not think of that.
From what I remember too, it's been a while since I played 10, but I remember something about Anima in that game wanting to defeat Sin and help protect the world. Yeah. Is that why Charlian isn't afraid? Because they are planning to use Fortuno's mother, or not Fortuno's mother, his wife, the twin's mother.
Yeah. So I think Fortuno's plan. I actually think Fortuno is kind of bluffing at the moment, and he wants us to come and explore. Because it was kind of like the way they've implied the story so far is that they're trying to get Fortuno to annoy us enough to come and investigate, right? So that's why, like, because in that cutscene, Graha sort of goes, "Huh, that's not like Fortuno. What's he saying that for?" And that kind of prompted them to say, "No, we're going to go to Charlian, right?" And as you say, that completely went over my head about his mother, their mother even. When it says, "Yeah, she's in good health, she's fine." Like, he did say that, and she could just be in good health and fine, right? But it's a very interesting take, because there's a part in the trailer where Fortuno... Well, there's a part in the trailer where, like, oh, I don't know who's speaking there. I think it's an animated Fortuno, or an emotionally animated Fortuno saying that we must... I think the line is something along those, we must...
we will survive, we must.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know who that is. To me, it sounded like Fortuno's voice actor being animated. And that could be, in a lead up to thinking about it now, it could be him doing a summoning of anime. You're quite right. That would
Yeah, because if it's his wife, then it must work, because otherwise he's just sacrificing his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that it's fairly certain that the Sharlayans think they have something that makes them safe.
Yeah.
Whether that is anima or whether that's something else, some kind of sort of force field, and they think they're going to be in some kind of like floating island situation if everything else goes, or something, I don't know. But I think the Sharlayans think they're safe, but I'm reasonably sure that they're not. I would not be at all surprised if we... I don't know if I can swear on your stream.
Please go ahead, it's fine. I've got an 18 plus on mine, so it's fine.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see old Charlie getting proper fucked up, sort of almost, a la, oh, what's the name of it?
Labyrinthos?
Almost like the Asian city.
Oh, Amarat.
Amarat. Sorry, almost sort of being almost like a sequel to Amarat, where they think they're safe and they're really not. They think they've got an ace in the hole that will keep them safe, and it very much turns out not to be the case.
Yeah. Okay. So based on what we've seen so far, I think a lot of people are leaning towards that. They think their ace in the hole is that they built their subterranean city, right? So it looks there's a couple of these zones look like they're inside a dome that is underground.
Yeah, that's
with a fake sun,
Labyrinthos, right?
Yeah, with the fake sun in there. So from a Charlayan point of view, they're like, well, if the world goes to shit, we'll just go underground. It'll be fine. We'll bury our heads in the sand and we'll be fine. We'll come out and we'll keep all our records and the library and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's very bunker-esque.
Yeah. But if their final ace in the hole is a summon of some description, hint hint, wink wink, etc., then that'll be interesting. I'll have to add that one to the list of potential things then.
Yeah, because I was like thinking, like, oh, that's why he says you're no longer leviers and everything. He wants them to stay away because he doesn't want them to see their mom become big monster.
I read that as he's doing that to like make a grand show to annoy them enough to want to come and investigate what's going on in Sharlayan. But actually, I didn't even think to read it in the other way of he is actually just trying to say, like, you trust me, you don't want to be one of us.
Yeah, it's very ambiguous the way like it's said. It's it's ominous, but also like I still want to at least go there to punch him in the face. But
yeah,
you and a few million other people.
Yeah, few people. That and adopting the twins, obviously. You know, they might.
Oh yeah, I have a custody arrangement with Estinian.
Yeah, excellent. We haven't even touched on Estinian yet either. And I can see somebody in the chat sort of said, "Oh, you know, they might not kill anyone." By the way, so you're quite right. This is FF. They do like the smiley, shiny, cheesy ending sometimes, right? But I think we've already had so many near misses and so many shiny, happy moments that they've got to pull the trigger at some point. And if they're going to do it, it's got to be
been a while
new.
since a Scion has bit the dust.
Yeah,
I think we're kind of overdue at this point, and that someone is going to go.
Yeah. So depending on how you look at it, the last Scions we lost were either Papalimo, or if you counter, then Minfilia, because she's no longer with us anymore. But and she was a Scion, but she was lost in the last expansion. But she wasn't really one of the main Scions that's active, right? So I guess she doesn't count.
I think in a way we can get Minfilia back. Not our Minfilia, but I think in a way we might have a chance to see Mini Minfi again.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Mike. I'm so sorry, Mike. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Mike's very much a fanboy of Minfilia. He immediately fell in love with with Minfilia, which is why you're his best friend right now for saying that we can bring her back.
Yeah, I think like Mini Minfie specifically, because well, that also goes to another theory I have about what's under Silver Tier, specifically with some of the areas in Lakeland and how they might connect to Mordona. Actually, I think it's possible too that they can do a time skip in the first,
So,
without doing it in the source because of the weird time difference.
yeah. So obviously we know that Silvertier Lake is the source of the source. And it kind of tracks that it's going to be a place where you should be able to connect to more places, right? Because the life stream emanates from there and connects to the planet. You would think,
yeah, and you can find similar crystals that are in Mordona, over in Lakeland too, under the lake.
Yes. So, it does imply that because we're on the source and that's the source of the source, it would connect to the reflections, right?
Right, especially the lake called the Source.
Yeah. So I think my one of my bold predictions for this is that the end game of this Endwalker expansion is going to be at Silvertier Lake. I think the final battle is going to be there.
I can see that happening.
You want to hear an alternative?
Go.
Well, what if the moon isn't a moon? I mean, we've had one moon before that wasn't a moon.
It's implied
Trader
that
4.0 has, as you say, has come out again, which is where the moon wasn't a moon, or the red moon wasn't a moon. It was Bahamut. What if what we think is the moon
is Zodiac
again isn't a moon? It's something else. It's essentially another much bigger egg.
I have that on my list, exactly word for word. The moon is an egg.
The moon is an egg for Zodiac.
It could be Zodiac, could be some sort of super Bahamut or something. Who knows? But it's
lunar
I think it's
Bahamut?
quite possible. Well, no, we've had lunar Bahamut, but lunar Bahamut sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
lunar Bahamut, fake Bahamut. But I think it's super Minfilia.
Mike, you got to give it up, man. Mike, she's gone, man. She's gone. You got to accept. You got to take the shrine down. You got to put out the candles at some point, man.
But yeah, I do think there's a possibility that the moon isn't all it. It's not just a moon. It's like the red moon from 1.0. It's something else nasty is contained inside. I mean, sort of, egg, as Ven said as well.
Oh, do you think? Well, now that has me wondering. Because there's the Hummingway up on the moon that we know of. So there's things living up there. And then there's also people living on the Source, also known as like on Hydaelyn. Is the Earth an egg for Hydaelyn, while the moon is an egg for Zodiac?
Yeah. We've seen references of that like before in game, right? Where they've said there's been obscure references to the moon in the past where they could go FF8 on us and make it like that's where monsters come from and all that sort of stuff. In terms of if it is an egg and say Zodiac's in there, he could be the one that like allows monsters to form on the surface and they come down as part of a because all those towers, by the way, are pointing upwards. And we're I know they're just they're obviously stuck to the earth in one direction, but
towers do generally tend to do that.
Yeah, but what? Oh, you can have a slanted tower. but
this isn't Pisa, mate.
Yeah. But what I mean is they're shooting something up, right? And what are they shooting it up at? Is my question. Or is it just energy? It could just be energy, and I could just be overthinking it. But what about if they're points for monsters to come and spawn down, as well as the summons from inside the tower?
Well, they could also have basements, because we haven't fully explored one of those yet.
Mm-hmm.
There could be basements that link up to the because there's like that live stream, like with the anti-tower, you can see it in there.
Yeah.
You can see the live stream, so it might be collecting energy straight from the live stream.
Do you think that
What-
might be?
what-
Go on.
So I was going to say, what you're saying with that kind of being connected to the moon, would tie in somewhat with me thinking that they are also a route up to it.
So it depends which way they go with this, right? So there's a lot of homages in this at the moment to FF4, right? And FF4 had 2 moons as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
And one of
Don't
those,
remember.
and one of those was fake, and the other one we went to, and they had the Lunarians, which is basically the Hummingways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they hollow out part of the moon to make a city. It's been a while since I played FF4.
It's been a long time since I played it.
It's been a very long time since I
Yeah,
played FF4.
yeah.
I played it at the time that not the time that it came out, but only a couple of years afterwards.
Yeah, I remember that we went to the moon on the lunar whale, and then when we got there, we met up with the what are essentially the Hummingway in FF14, the Lunarians. And when we got there, didn't we basically start a war immediately? And that was like, hi guys, we're just here to explore. Oh, and there's a war. Yeah.
I think so. I remember turning
Sounds
into
like
a
us.
paladin when you get to the moon, but I don't remember much after.
So the paladin thing is from the mountain that I can't remember the name of, right? So some stuff happens, and then about halfway through the game, and not is it even halfway? Is it about a third of the way through the game? You change the paladin as to for Cecil to redeem his character, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Sounds
as part
about right.
and as part of that, we end up going to the moon. Now,
I thought that was sort of pre-moon, the change to Paladin, wasn't it?
yeah, I thought so as well. But
It's been a while since I played, so
as you say, it's been such a long time. It could have been. It could very well have been that. It could have been.
it could have been an egg.
It could have been an egg. But I think a lot of people do like that egg theory of that they're not all convinced of what is in the egg, whether it be Zodiac or something else. I think Zodiac is within the moon.
I think he's either up there or, yeah, inside of it. Probably more likely inside, because I imagine Zodiac's pretty big compared to, like, Heidelin.
Is it counts as Nazi moon base? Yeah, I mean, what's that film called now? What's the film where there's a Nazi sky base on the moon? Damn, I can't. Sky something. Iron Sky, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. If they've got their own Gotcha Amadung, we're in trouble.
Can't say I've ever seen the movie.
So
I haven't seen it either.
So it's like it's like a parody, basically, of like all the crazy Nazi stories and stuff where they retreated to the moon. Basically, what happens in the film is they build a base on the moon in secret. They lose the war on Earth, retreat to the moon for 60 years, and then they come back
As
down.
you do.
And they come back down and start attacking in like these little metal ships that come down and all sorts. And they've got this massive fortress that's basically like a third of the size of the moon, and it comes out of the moon. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Sounds like Asians, so
It sounds like the Asians to me, right? They're basically Asians. You're right. You're right, Ailey. Sorry if I'm putting.
I call him Islet.
Ailey. Okay, but yeah. It's a crazy film. It's a parody, so you go into it not serious at all. But I do recommend watching it. It's quite funny. You know, if we face a sky fortress or a space fortress that comes out of the moon, that's it now. We're going to know that Yoshi P watched Iron Sky, and that's where he got the idea from.
Yeah, I'll have to check that movie out. Yeah, I haven't even heard of it.
It's quite an obscure movie, to be fair. I think it's got a bit of a cult following, but it wasn't a very big hit when it came out because it's a parody as well. And they did all their own effects and stuff, like a very small team. It was very cool considering what was going on. Also known as the Madman. Oh, okay, I'll just call them Madman from now on. That's fine then. Also, Jumping Snail. What?
Yeah,
What?
he's a snail wizard, and he has a beard, and he's very good at jumping in Prince of Persia.
And loves to stream it.
Fair enough. But yeah, so going back to FF14. So I think the order of play for the expansion, I think we're going to go to Charlayan first. I think there'll be a section where we go to Thavnir. Then we'll have to go to Garlemald. And then I think that's going to be our halfway point. And then what will happen is the scene where we're in the chair with Xenos over us. I think something will happen there that allows him to go to the moon maybe and uses us as part of that. Then we have to play catch up and find a way to get to the moon as well. I think we're going to find an Allegan ship. Probably in the ruins of Cartino, right? And I think then we'll have to go back to Charlayan though to do something. To kind of figure out what's going on with Fortuno and his plans, and then from there I don't think we'll go back to Thavnir after that. I think it'll just be from Charlayan, we'll get to Cartano, get in this ship, go to the moon, do all the stuff we're doing on the moon. I think you're right, Trashy. I don't think Zodiac's going to be the last boss, and I think the finale is going to end at Silvertear Lake, which it sounds like Ven is thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I can see it there, especially if it ends up being true that it's Heidelin as the final boss. I can see us fighting her at Silvertear.
That would make sense for it to do that there, yeah.
So, what ties into that nicely is this release this morning, or very early this morning for us, and last night I think for NA, but it was the 1.0 trailer, right? So they put this 1.0 trailer in as a, hey, by the way, this was a thing, look. Do you remember this thing? Do you remember the 1.0 guy? And it could just be a nostalgia thing to say, you know, this is the journey from the start to the end, blah, blah, blah. But it also could be like, I've seen a lot of tin hat theories come out of it that, you know, that the end of Endwalker is going to send us to the start of 1.0 and things like that, or the end of 1.0, and it's crazy like that. There's some crazy theories out there just because they've released that trailer. But actually, if the battle is at Silvertear Lake and the source is located there, and also there's time travel elements involved, then who knows, right?
I would just love it if the Silvertear Lake could connect us back to the first, and there's a time skip, and Mini Minty can come back with a gunblade.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be quite cool. So I think they've laid a little bit of that foundation work. So I don't know if you guys have done it, but did you do all the role quests and then the quests that came as part of that afterwards?
I did.
I did, but again, that was quite a while back.
Yeah. So Una Kalkai is.
Is that how you say his name?
No idea. That's how I'm going to pronounce it.
Okay.
Una Kalkai. Maybe I'll look it up.
Pick one and we'll go with it.
Una Kalkai. Unu Kalkai. That'll do. Yeah, there we go. So that guy, the kid, who came from the 13th reflection, and obviously they lost, and obviously Sylvain also came from that star, right? And they both failed, and it became a void of darkness. They've kind of prefaced with that their adventures that are going to go forward are going to involve something where it allows them to travel back. So in order to do that, we need to figure out how to do that ourselves, right? Because unless we can do it, they can't. So is the end of Endwalker at Silvertear Lake?
Because if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've done the mage role quest. The kid in that one, I don't remember his name, but you need to be a very well-trained and powerful mage to even open those portals. But we kind of have the benefit of having all these crystals of light and also being a part of the source and 8 times rejoined. So maybe we can do it.
Yeah, and obviously that it is. If we were a canon black mage, definitely. But at the moment we're not. Maybe next expansion, who knows?
Yoshi P wants everyone to play his main.
Yeah, I mean, Yoshi P's waiting for the day when Black Mage becomes the main job for everyone and nobody can change ever again. Well, once you change onto it, that's it. The job changes a lot.
And everyone's a Lala now.
Yeah, everyone's a Lala Black Mage. If it was up to Yoshi P, that would be exactly what would be happening.
Well, I'm halfway there.
What, the Black Mage or the Taru? Lala.
The Lala.
I'm kind of there. I'm a Talafel.
A Talafel? Are you like the shortest human possible?
No, I'm very tall. I got a giraffe neck too. I think I'm Lala, but like 5 feet tall, so.
You're just like trying to walk through all the underneath all the arches, like, hey guys.
I've been playing an Ellison recently.
Oh yeah, that's what the casuals call it. It's a Talafel.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. It's a taller fell. Gotcha. I'm with you now. And Ellison. So I've been playing here for a while now, but before that I was an Ellison for ages. And then when I first started, it was a not Galka, the other one. I'm mixing up FF11 and 14 here.
We know what you mean.
Yeah,
I do anyway.
Rogadin. There we go, Rogadin. So, so when I first started, when I moved from 11, I was a Galka before, and then I moved over to 14, and I became a Rogadin. But then I was like, no, I think I'll change it up, because a lot of the gear on Rogadin doesn't look. I don't think Rogadin looks very good in most of the gear, which is a shame.
Yeah, the mill ones are especially very blocky.
Yeah. So I kind of went over to Ellison for a long time, because they looked a lot better in a lot of the gear. And that's what it's all about. Endgame is really just all about the gear, as we know, and the drip. But yeah, then I decided, for some reason, to go to here, and I've not moved back since. Don't really intend to. I'll think about it after Endwalker maybe, but I think I'll stick to here.
Midlander or Thylander?
Midlander, because I am a Midlander in real life.
Yes. But yeah, I started off playing I started off as Ellison. Did switch to an edgy looking Catboy for a while. Switched back to Ellison for, again, quite a long time. But when did I switch to Ladderfell? I think just before. I think it was just before Shadowbringers that I switched to Ladderfell, and I've been Ladderfell since.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Changed my character name when I did that. It's now called. I'm a Ladderfell called Not to Scale.
Was your name beforehand To Scale?
No.
Ah, God. That would have been interesting, moving from To Scale to Not to Scale.
His first name was Actual and his last name was Size.
No, it was something completely different before. But it was I just didn't seem to fit. Plus, I had a Lalafell alt on another server very briefly, what they called Not to Scale, and I decided I liked the comedy name, so I changed it to that when I switched race.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So I'm just going through my notes to make sure we haven't missed anything that I've kind of wanted to look at so far. But I think so. We've talked a little bit about Charlene and Fortuno, and what we think they might have up their sleeve, what Anima could be, where she could be. It seems like the consensus is, based on this conversation, that Anima is going to be involved in the Charlene part of the story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting theory, for sure, about potentially being the twins' mother. That would be heart-wrenching, right?
Yeah, because the first time I heard Anima, I'm like, okay, who's all the mothers I know in this game?
Yeah.
And it was Xenos' mom I thought of, and then Alfino and Alice's mom, and then Philomene.
Oh, wow. If it was Philomene, Jesus Christ, that would be... Mike, close your ears. No, it's honest. No, it's fine. Don't worry. It'd be nothing to do. No, Midfilia's already been stomped on too much. Just don't tell Mike that. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Don't worry, Mike. Don't have a breakdown.
I mean, that would be tragic if it was Philomene, because of it's like every expansion she loses someone else.
Yeah. Which is why I actually think it's going to be wrenching enough for her when I think the inevitable of Thancred going happens. Because Thancred was kind of like the last link, really, between the two, right?
Yeah, and they always had that relationship of he always had like a crush on her, but she was what's his name? Neil Fresnay, I think was his name back in 1.0.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're close. They're definitely like friends, and of course they were like co-parents. So if it would be definitely hard on her if Thancred, and Thancred's like the last one she has.
Well, the only other thing is that if you're correct, for example, with finding a way to bring Reen over to us, That would be interesting, seeing Philomene interact with Reen, right?
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah.
Oh, and Gaia too.
Yeah. The only problem with Gaia is they haven't made a MSQ canon, have they?
No, it was really weird where
No.
they left off with the Eden raids too, because we didn't even get to say goodbye.
No, because they kind of, if you did the raids, there was like one line of text, right, that said she existed, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Haven't they kind of intimated that Omega is going to be coming back at some point or another as well?
So not
With
direct.
those raids, didn't they kind of like sort of suggest that we're not done with Omega?
No.
Yeah,
So,
he was in the benchmark.
yeah. So Omega itself is dead. It's whether the Guardians have copied it in some way, because they got their grubby paws on it. And well, let's face it, Nero's not exactly the most scrupulous of people, is he really? So.
What? You don't trust Nero? No.
I mean, we all know that he wants, a quiet weekend away with Sid at some point. But
Oh, I mean, don't we all? But like, still.
yeah. But I don't think. So this is where I was going to lead to, actually. So bringing Nero in nicely there. So in the launch trailer, we get a view of a Guardian with blonde hair that looks quite similar to Nero, right? And there's a few people like, oh, I don't know who that guy is. Could be important, right? So he's either going to be one of two people. He's either going to be Nerva, or he's going to be Nero's dad. And option C is, why not both?
Why not both?
Yeah. What if Nerva is Nero's dad? And that's why we saw him in the... Because everybody went, oh, that's Nero, right? And he was like, no, Nero wouldn't be seen dead in anything that's not red.
He does like his red.
Yeah, he does like his red, right? So, I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be Nero. I think it could be either his dad or just Nerva just happens to look similar to him. Because Nerva was the Emperor's cousin, right?
I think so. It's been a while since I've even heard the name brought up.
And he was making a play for the throne. If I remember.
I mean, like,
correctly.
everyone was, but...
Yeah, but I think that the two with the greatest claim to the throne were Nerva and the one who's just died.
Varys?
That's the one,
Or-
Varys. Varys,
They
yeah.
very much skipped past that, didn't they? Though that was really only kind of mentioned in passing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think there's a little bit more in, like, side quests and things like that where they fill in the gaps a little bit, but yeah. Is it the Boston quest mentions Nerva, if I remember correctly? I think we get a little bit from there in the
Can't
Boston
remember.
stuff. I remember a lot of the Boston stuff, but
remembering.
not necessarily all of the direct mentions. They might have mentioned it in the weapons refrain storyline as well. A little bit. Because I think Gaius mentions Nerva at some point.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. Also, do you think it's going to be the last we see of Gaius? Was the weapons storyline?
No, I think he's going to play a part in this. So when we go to Garlemald, he'll almost certainly want to be involved, and I think he might come with us to Garlemald. And obviously, it's been alluded to that any Garlean forces that aren't tempered are probably going to be on our side when we're fighting. The only way that happens is if you've got somebody to bring them onto our side. And the Populares aren't really strong enough on their own to do that. They would need someone to galvanise behind. And for me, that is Gaius. Gaius is that man.
Quite possibly, because he wasn't exactly. I mean, I've done the damn roulette so many times at this point. The level 50 story roulette. That he's not all about sort of he's not going to be on board with mindless destruction. He wasn't on board with mindless destruction back then, and he's not going to be now.
Such devastation.
Exactly.
It's still one of my favourite macros in game that I press. Is it your turn yet? It's my turn now. What do pirates say, guys? Roar!
Yarg!
Yeah. You've got to have those, and even if you're watching a movie in the background, you've got to be ready to press your macro, right?
Right?
But yeah, I think Gaius is going to play a big role. and his 2 lieutenants who were with him that I forget the names of. They were in the weapons refrain. I think they'll be involved a lot as well. In that section, they'll be doing things for Gaius during that phase, I think. Because he obviously wants, his end goal is to see the end of the Ascians, and technically we've done that, but Van Daniel kind of has thrown a wrench in the works. And I do have a little bit more to speak on with Van Daniel at some point, who we've barely mentioned yet, to be fair.
Haven't mentioned Xenos too much either.
No, we haven't mentioned them too much yet. We've kind of gone through like what we think, where we might go initially, what we're going to do, what's going to happen with Anima, a little bit about Fortuna we've done. We've kind of gone through Scions. We haven't really talked about Grahatir much yet. With Graha, I can't figure out. For me, he's got the yellow flag in my mind.
I don't know what they're going to do with him, to be perfectly honest.
So this is my question also. On the basis that they've cut Kryl out, when Grahatir could quite easily have also played the same role as Kryl in a way with Charlene, right?
Right.
I think he's going to stick to us like glue, like Alice saying, he'll come with us everywhere. And I think he's got a flag in my mind because he's still too eager to do everything for the Warrior of Light to the point of fanaticism, and that's dangerous for himself.
I think we'll need him at one point.
Yes.
I think we'll need his blood again. His bloodline.
And
We
for
will
the
need
tower,
again at some point.
to get into the tower.
But other than that, I don't think, again though, I don't know how much there is that's kind of unique that he brings to the table. He's just sort of at the minute, I hate to say it, but in this situation, he's just kind of one of the numbers, really, isn't he?
Yeah. So for me, his most useful moments are going to come in Charlene, right? Because he was wasn't he based there at one point, or was it just the students of Baldessi and stuff?
Yeah, I think.
Pretty sure he said he went to Charlene before.
I think his tribe is more from like the Garlean territory. But he was ostracized, and I think that's when he went. He was one of the ones that got adopted, like Thancred, to Charlean.
Yeah. And I think his moments are going to come there. Anything outside of that, it's going to be him just following us and making up the numbers, as you say. He'll be a trust party guy. I'm sure he'll have his uses and stuff, but I am concerned in general for the character, because even though obviously we've now got past the thing of I was going to give my life in the first and bring you back and all that, I don't think we've quite got over that hill yet of him not being in danger yet. I still think there is something that might happen, and obviously again he's in the trailer snooping around in the Charlene Forbidden Library, right?
Yeah, I knew it. The star still has secrets to tell.
Yeah.
And there's kind of the whole, I've lived my life already, and all that, and sort of thinking that the ex, when he was the Crystal Exarch, from, as opposed to him in the first, or in our world rather, the source. Sorry, I'm just going to say in the source. Because they're kind of like the two sort of merge, become one, aren't they? So, one side of him is very much sort of lived a full life and wasn't sort of expecting to be living any longer. So, I mean, he's going to possibly have that kind of sort of sacrificial motivation as well as you say there.
Yeah, for sure. I think. So I think for me, my top 3 of scions that they might give the chop.
They're basically the 3 in that triangle at the top, aren't they?
The 3 in the not Alice. So I think Alice is kind of 4th on mine, but yes.
Oh, okay.
So I think Thancred, Urianjay, Grahatir, and Kryl. No, she's not on the poster, but I think Kryl. Yeah, so Grahatir, Kryl.
She could be in the back. She could be back there.
Yeah,
she's short.
Trying to jump up, trying to climb.
She's hiding behind the ultimate evil at the bottom. So can we talk Tataru for a bit? Can we actually talk Tataru for a bit? Like I know we've obviously got the meme, right, where she's the ultimate evil, and she chips in where she can. She knows all the jobs. She's got all the crafting things done. She somewhere in the back she might find a carbuncle again and all that sort of stuff. And she can build an airship. She's trying to learn to fly an airship and all that sort of stuff. But her title is just Coin Keeper. Can we appreciate how much work this woman actually does for the science?
Or is she going to fly a spaceship?
Yeah. Yeah. So she's obviously. No, I didn't want to do that. She's obviously, the heart of Zodiac, really, as Mike says in chat there. Like, there's as Mobo even says there, not Mike. Mobo. Hello, Mobo. How you doing? Do you really think it's just a meme, or do you think there's more to Tataru than meets the eye for Endwalker, specifically for Endwalker, because she's front and center on that poster, and there's a line in the trailer that is Tataru, where she says something about taking away your burdens. So I wonder if that's in a heated moment, or if it's just a throwaway comment, or is something going to happen with Tataru?
Maybe she's just paying back our student loans when we go to Charlotte, so take away that burden.
Yeah, I'll take that. It's okay. I'll take the money burden away.
Here's a grant.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see her being sort of so much more than she was previously, quite so much. I think I know she kind of wants to kind of break out of the role and be what she would consider more useful, as it were. But I can't see it happening quite so much. To be perfectly honest. I don't know how they could kind of do that and really make it all that believable, as it were.
Yeah. So for me, I think I think in terms of like she's the big bad. That's a meme. That's just a meme. But I think as a character within the Scions, do you think she'll grow out of that role of just the coin keeper, or she'll always be just the organizer in the background? Because it's obvious that she wants to grow out of that.
I don't know if she'll necessarily grow out of it in the sense that she can get anywhere on any of the other Scions level, but honestly, there's a lot she could do just with her skills in making money and planning and tracking people down. There's a lot she can grow in just that general field.
Yeah. Mike in the chat seems to think Tataru is going to be one of the ones to die. So I haven't even got it on my radar that Tataru will die at all. But I don't know. I don't know if any other have.
I don't know. I'm thinking more on the Kryl, because I don't know how much you guys have seen from the media tour. But Kryl, it's not in any of the promotional arts, but she's in a dungeon.
Oh, interesting.
Actively.
I see. So either she's part of the instance, a la what was it? The Gimli Dart, where you have NPCs running around with you, right?
Yeah, she says something at the beginning. I can't remember the name she says. She says the name, but she's there and she's running in the dungeon with you, even if you're in a party.
Okay, yeah. She'll just be a participating NPC then. Interesting. So she does play a part of some description, but yeah, I honestly, I really thought she got done dirty when I saw all the initial promotional material. I was like, well, where's Kryl? She's one of the main... the main ones, but I guess...
Yeah, and after all she did for the Scions while they were partying on the first.
Yeah. I think it might just be... It might very well just be, I don't know, that they could only fit a certain amount of characters in to their story for, making text for them, making the story fleshed out for them, because they obviously have to make these decisions as part of the story, right? They have to draw the line somewhere of which character is or isn't going to be included in things.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that she's kind of already been written out of it, and so it's just a case of kind of getting the deed kind of done and finished, as it were, harsh as that sounds. But she didn't really feature. I mean, she was about occasionally in Shadowbringers, but she wasn't exactly a sort of a major force or a major character. I mean, she was almost non-existent in it
She's always been on the
really, to be honest.
fringes. Apart from, she's always
Yeah.
pretty much been on the fringes throughout all of it, and she has helped us at times. And you know, she kept the Scions alive while they were away, and she worked real hard in the background. But they've never really fully brought her into the MSQ, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what she can do because right now she's just our bus ticket to Charlayan.
Yes, pretty much. So I think in terms of other characters we haven't really discussed yet. So Astinian, we haven't really mentioned Astinian at all yet, have we? I think most of his role is going to be in the Thavnerian part of the story. He's going to come into his own now. It looks like he's going to get Virtua on side in some way, right? So he's got to be out there to do that.
He's he's the type of character who tends to show up at key moments and not really be about for most of it, but kind of shows up to do something important and then and then fucks off again. It's kind of role, isn't it? Sort of just like a dragoon, you know, sort of jump, stab, out.
So the only thing is though that like we've had that paradigm shift of he is now a mainline Scion, so they have to include him in more things, right? If they especially as he's one of the guys. Is he on the poster actually? No, he's not. Is he? Oh, he is. He's under the shield. Okay, it's underneath the sword. He is on there. I was like, wait a minute. What? There's so much white hair going on. It's sometimes difficult to follow. Can we get a Scion with some like colour in their hair at some point? Apart of, I know obviously Graha's got it, but you know
that's what I was going to say.
That's Graha's purpose in the entire story. That's just the one with the red hair.
That's exactly what he brings to the table. He brings hair colour.
he almost went there in Shadowbringers with some of that white, but he's like, nah, I need to be unique. Got rid of his highlights.
Yeah. I think Estelian's going to come into his own in the Thavnerian part of the story. He'll obviously come with us at all the points, but I think his set piece will be in that Thavnerian bit because he's got to get those dragons on side, right?
Right.
I think that'll be his task, as it were. But other than that, I think he'll just be like generic DPS. That's going to be his role. He brings the DPS. He brings the deeps.
Yeah, the only thing I can ever think of him bringing to the table is he's also one of the people that's infiltrated Garlemald, but we also have Thancred and Urianger and Gaius, too, so there's other people that can fill that role. True, very true.
And he is a floor tank.
He is a floor tank, yes. I think, so possibly something that I'm sort of undercooking a little bit is he is basically the embodiment of what is left of Nidhogg as well, isn't he? So when he has his angry moments or when he draws his parry, he calls for Nidhogg, right? So whether that plays into the story or not, we just don't know. It could when we get to Silver Tier maybe be a thing, but we'll see.
That could be a thing too. If we go back to Silver Tier, because Midgar Summer's duty was to protect Silver Tier, and what if some of the other dragons of Mericidia come to also defend?
Yeah. It depends if Midgard Summer calls them, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know what he's really been up to since. When was the last time we even talked to Midgar?
During the Omega Raids, and he disappeared because he ran out of energy, right?
Right.
So he's so weak he can't even manifest himself to speak to us at the moment, and that's why he sent one of the other dragons to come and fetch us. It was Hraesvelgr, right? He got Hraesvelgr to fetch us, and he says, "This is the only time my father's asked a boon of me, and so I came."
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that the dragons of the world that we haven't seen yet could all get involved, especially if Midgard Summer says so. Go and protect Silver Lake. That Silver Tier, they'll go and do it.
Yeah, we know there's a bunch of them in Mericidia too. So, which could leak the end of Endwalker to the next expansion for maybe possible Mericidia.
Maybe.
Who knows? I think quite possibly it's going to be something completely different that we're just not aware of at all at the moment for the next expansion. I think they're kind of almost going to. I mean, obviously still be Science, but they're going to, kind of drop most things, and it's going to kind of be like a fresh start rather than, too much that's gone before in any shape or form.
Yeah, they have to in order to lay the groundwork for the next thing, right? So from point 1 onwards, they're doing story build-up again, aren't they?
Yeah, we don't even know who's can even possibly stay with us after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think other characters then are involved. Do you think he's just going to be cheerleader for this, or do you think he'll be doing something in the background, maybe along the lines of helping Tataru, maybe?
Who? Sorry, did you say? I think I missed something.
Are involved.
G Warrior.
Yeah. Really? You think he'll be in the G Warrior?
They need to bring it back. They got to use that for something, right?
Well, I just hopefully don't need to use his legs to operate anything, right?
I mean, there's a chair in there.
Yeah, I suppose. It just depends whether he's pressing pedals and stuff to do stuff. But that's a distinct possibility, I suppose. It depends whether he wants to get directly involved in the fight. And actually, that's a good point about the G Warrior. Where's my G Warrior? I want my G Warrior. I want the G Warrior for this fight.
Yeah, need to move it to that garage in Mordona. Just shove it in that small little room.
Yeah.
Sid retrofits it for space flight or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool. It is kind of flat, like the cloud deck.
Yeah.
The ship on the Endwalker logo is kind of like the cloud deck, actually. Now.
Oh wow! Don't say that. Jesus Christ! It's just
Diamond Weapon version 2.
We're just adding theories now at this point, right?
He's just making things up.
And anybody in the chat with tin hats are going, oh, yeah, I'm not writing all this down now.
I think there's a lot of small stuff we not got into as well. I mean, kind of forget the big picture. I'm pretty sure the Aether currents are still going to be a thing, and they're still going to suck.
So they've actually commented on that.
Really
they've actually commented on Aether currents.
Oh, have they? What have they said?
So they've said they're going to make them much more streamlined, easier to get, and they'll be mostly in MSQ. Like the MSQ will take you along the path that will more than likely get you to each Aether current.
Yeah, but we'll still actually get the Aether currents once we're done with the zone. They're not going to be actually useful for getting through the zone or leveling or anything like that. We're going to get them once we're finished. I don't think that's going to change.
So
it's kind of strange that they would have them too in Charlene, because Charlene's not even that rich in ether as Eorzea is, because Moonbrita comments on that the second she steps in Eorzea. She's like, oh, all the ether here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, exactly, and that's why we need them even more there, because we can't use the we certainly can't use the or what do you say, background ether for. You definitely have to find the currents this time.
So it's kind of implied that the currents only form in ether-rich areas, though. So if we go like Garlemald, I don't think there'll be any ether current in Garlemald at all. I think we'll be using their train system to get around. I think when we get there's the dungeon at the station, and then from there we'll be able to use the train system there, and that's the only way to travel in and out of Garlemald. Would be my guess. Because they don't have any. They don't have any ether to use crystals, and they're not magic users. So why would they need crystals to travel around, right? They can't. They can just about manipulate ether, but they can't use ether.
Right, and it looks like they have the roads.
Like that,
yeah, but the airships are Magitech powered. They use cerulean for that. They don't use magic.
I was thinking too, like they have like the roads that look a lot like
highways,
like modern day Earth roads.
Yeah, exactly. So in order to get around, we either need a car or a train, or an airship that is cerulean powered. Which I'm sure Sid can rustle something up for us if we need to, as always, and then that'll be the excuse. And then whether we change to a floating bear in a Christmas suit afterwards is up to us.
Well, how much ceruleum do they even have? Because they're mostly getting it from Blue Fog, Northern Thanalands, and we kind of kicked them out for the most part.
Are the towers not redirecting ether towards Garlemald? That is a good point, because they need it for the big tower, right?
Yeah.
For the main tower. So I suppose they are starting to redirect that, which is why they were attacking Cartano initially, wasn't it? Because they wanted the sensitive ether points, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. that makes sense, I suppose, where they're trying to redirect Ether. In fact, yeah, you could use that as arguably a reason for Ether now existing up there. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. That's how we're going to fly on our floaty Christmas bears and you know, everything else that we can fly, like
in our beds.
A flying cactus, and yeah. Can you imagine if it was real? Like obviously people wearing like trolley outfits and you know, rocked up on a shining gold thing with gold fish underneath it, holding it up, and you're the hero, and you've just arrived on that.
Or in a snowman costume that you have to lift up the head to see out of.
Oh, that's a good point. I've got that. I've still got that. So I do have that. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I'm going to do for the rest of December now. Just always traveling the snowman.
Have you ever traveled on the snowman mount and then press the RP walk button so you just stay the snowman?
No. I didn't know you could do that.
If you RP walk, you actually don't pop your head out. You just stay a snowman and you're just slowly sliding across the floor.
Nice. Good to know. Good to know. Snowman in the chat. So cautionary mention for the B team, for the Scion B team. Are we thinking they're going to step up on this? They're going to help us out? Not necessarily directly in dungeons and stuff, but...
Hoary Boulder Zodiarch.
Oh God. Hoary Boulder's still doing squats somewhere to keep those glutes tight, you know?
Oh, maybe Arnvold can then since Hoary Boulder's doing his leg day, he could just climb on Hoary Boulder like a backpack.
Wow.
I mean, they'll be around because there's still plenty of towers. There's a lot to do.
So,
but I mean, they'll still be doing stuff.
Yeah.
But, so how much we'll see them, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's my question: is do you think we'll see them in maybe the main scenario quest, not necessarily directly helping us in like dungeons and stuff, but do you think they'll be in and about in various areas and they'll go, "Oh, we've got this information for you," and blah blah blah.
I think that's pretty much going to be their role, isn't it? I would have thought.
Actually, since I actually just got to this point in the story, and I kind of didn't even remember about it until I got there on the EU character I just made. I got to the point in the story where you meet up back with Hoary Boulder and Flamine and the Elzen dude that I always forget his name. And they were in Thavnir. Yeah, I think that's it.
I have thought, what if Hoary Boulder and the others, what if they get tempered?
Oh,
that'd be funny.
That'd be really funny, but also very tragic that we'd have to kill them.
We might not have to.
We can cure it.
We can cure it now.
No, we must kill them.
But yeah, there's definitely a possibility that they could be tempered. I mean, that's the thing. There's definitely more of a danger for them than it was previously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that could be something that we see happening, and then we have to try and take them down without killing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could definitely be a thing.
I mean, we did it when we were breaking into Yulmore. We managed to get in there, exploding everyone's faces without killing them. So.
Yeah, I mean, so again, this is tempering is so much less threatening now. Yeah, it is in terms of that you can cure it now, but it's still a threat. It's more of a low-lying threat of more people can be tempered, but we can now cure it at least. So it's just a quantity. It's quantity over quality with tempering now, right? But going back to the B team, like that. This is why I was sort of saying, do we think Ironvold is going to step into that kind of more organisation role, and maybe he'll pick up the B team as like they're his team?
Honestly, I think Ironvold and Fordola are more of the B team now, and Hoary Boulder and the others are more of a C team.
I honestly think I'm going to nail this one to my post. I think Fordola's going to join the main team. She's going to be Trust. She's going to be in Trust.
I think so too.
And like I said, I think she's going to replace Thancred.
I can see you're totally also having another encounter with Xenos again, because that was like her whole deal in Stormblood.
Yeah. She wanted to know more about what was going on with. She wanted to know what the reason was for all that fighting that she done, and part of that is Xenos. So it makes sense that she'll be in and around for that as well. And yeah, so. This is obviously absolute speculation, but when we're in the chair, when Xenos is standing over us in the launch trailer, obviously something's happened there. And then I think that's going to be our halfway point. I think we're going to get casualties there because they'll try and save us. I think that's where we're going to get to our first casualties during that encounter with Xenos.
I can see Trash Panda just throwing your Riange in the way just to protect himself.
It's like
he won't be there. He'll be back at the at the Rising Stones or something like that. You know, he'll be well out of the way.
Now, if you're going to be streaming it, I'm going to have to watch your stream now to see if you immediately pick a Riange on the trust system just to make sure that he's there as a meat shield for you.
Just stand in the AoEs, Riange.
Doesn't matter that.
You see that fire over there?
Doesn't matter that you're the tank. You're going to be Riange over here, quick!
Man,
You
if
could
only
go in as paladin and turn off tank stunts.
And he'll just reply with,
going for the healer. I can't get aggro. Oh no!
Oh, where's Shurkum?
No, you'll pick him up. You'll pick him up and put him in front of you and say, all I can bear and more, or whatever. All I can bring to bear and more. Like that's his tagline, isn't it, in the dungeons? I hope they change those a little bit, by the way.
I think they will.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? Because you know, eventually you get sick of Thancred saying, "My turn."
Yeah, it needs some new voice lines. Also,
Sorry.
what I have noticed previously is that whenever someone's changed classes, there hasn't ever really been a very satisfying explanation as to why they've done it. And I don't think I see that changing very much with Alphinaud and a Sage. Alphinaud's going to be in the library. Oh, I've read these books and I'm a Sage now. I've discovered this whole thing. Now I'm a Sage. Yay!
I mean,
at least for Red Mage, it made sense with Ali Say's like personality because she's not much of a book person. She's more of a smack it with magic.
Yeah, hit things until they fall over. But she's, you know, not built enough to kind of go through, you know, to go down the, you know, hit it with a hammer route. So she needs to be a little bit more kind of, sort of, as you say, sort of mix of sort of swordplay, precise swordplay and magic. So that definitely makes sense for her.
So I think we're going to run into somebody in Charlene, maybe an old mentor or his mother, and she's going to say, or this person is going to say, by the way, I've got these things out the back. I can't really use them anymore. Do you want to try them? And somebody's going to hand him the things and say, use these from now on and teach him how to do it that way. And I think it'll be like lip service, and we'll see like a scene of him receiving the new lifts, but then after that he'll become Sage.
Alphinaud's like, oh man, I need to go smack my dad. This book isn't good enough. Who left this gun here?
Well, what are these on the... What? Mom, what are these at the back? Like...
What's this robot in the corner covered in dust?
Yeah.
Mom, is that a Gundam?
Can I take these off this strange mechanical being in the back that is just walking around at the back doing some housework?
Yeah, it's like that's broken as well. That's not repairable. But you know, these things look like they might be useful.
How do you control them with your mind?
I just like the idea of like the benchmark where Alphinaud is like studying in the libraries, and he's like, yes, all this knowledge, okay, and he picks up 4 guns and just goes to town.
Yeah.
Have we discussed Omega yet? We kind of mentioned him, and that it was kind of.
We did start,
that it was that it's kind of been hinted before that he's going to come back and that he's not done with us. But not a huge amount, I don't think.
I don't think Omega directly is going to come back. I think it's going to be some Garlean copy of Omega that they've souped up. Because it's in the benchmark trailer, right? When that thing turns up, that Omega thing. So I don't think it'll be directly Omega. It might be like a copy of his AI or something. It's put in a new chassis that they found from the Alligans or something.
Yeah, like it's gonna basically be like the Omega weapon, not Omega.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll be in there. I think it'll be something that Xenos employs to try and hold us off at Garlemald or in Garlemald for whatever reason. I don't think anything beyond that, unless we are talking about Omega, Alexander, Silvertear Lake, and mix it all together. But yeah.
But also, Omega is an alien, and that could also be another thing that connects us to the moon.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how, but you know, all the dragons and all the Omega, they're all from space pretty much, so that could
Well,
help us lead into space travel.
I mean, Omega's main mortal enemy was Migatsuma, right?
Yeah.
So Migatsuma, in theory, will be playing a big part in Silvertear Lake when we get there.
Mm.
So, or when we think we're going to get there, it's almost certain we're going to end there. Surely, based on the direction of everything and the fact that that bloody 1.0 trailer that they re-released today. In fact, we can watch that again now if you want. But the first half of it where we're picking what we're doing and all that sort of stuff, I don't think that's relevant. I think it's the second part where Migatsuma is at Silvertear, and obviously the summons come out of the live stream from that point, don't they?
Yeah.
At the end of that trailer.
When I think it was what was it called, the Agrias or something?
The
crashed
Agrias,
into
yeah.
Silvertear.
Yes. I mean, what we really don't need right now is another Garlean monster battleship falling into the lake. That'd be terrible.
Oh, I'm sure they have
Again.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be terrible. That would be terrible times. For all. Good music, good music. Right. So, other than that, then, the only three characters we haven't really discussed are Fandaniel, Xenos in detail, or this Lady of Light, or who we think is Venar. I'm going to just call her Venar because it's easier, but it's almost certainly her, right?
I think it's her.
Yeah.
I would have thought so.
It does seem very much like it is Venar. Whether she's going to play a direct role or a supporting role is going to be interesting to find out. Like, is she a direct person who's going to help us in dungeons or a trial or something like that? Or is she just there for lip service and the embodiment of Heidelin and we end up fighting her? Would it be her, or is she going to help us fight what's left of Heidelin? Or, I don't know, there's a lot of possibilities. If she's the Lady of Light, in theory, she will be Heidelin.
Wouldn't we have to probably even like fight her anyway? Because she is like the actual heart. Because I think if I'm remembering correctly, the Elidibus version we fought was almost like a primal version of a Elidibus.
Yeah, but he was summoned kind of by himself, or by... It was implied that Elidibus went in as the Heart of Zodiar, and then he withdrew himself in order to help them afterwards.
Yeah, so then is Venat the same as that, or is she just actually the heart, the real heart, not primal at all? Because then we might have to fight her if she's just pure heart.
Yeah. But again, it's going to be interesting to see if those scenes where she's walking through fire or whatever, and she's dirtied and she's got the mask off or whatever, it'd be interesting to see if that's present day or if that's in Amarot when it happened. Because we don't know that. We don't know the context for that scene. We don't know if it's as it's happening or if it's a flashback.
I'm probably leaning towards flashback, but yeah, it's hard to say. Because
obviously we know the world's going to go up in flames, or lots of parts of the world are going to go up in flames now. So yeah, it will be interesting for sure to see what happens.
I do really think that Charlene is going to get hit hard. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see mostly ruins with Charlene at one point. It's going to be very on fire.
So this is the funny part, though. Every piece, every single piece of media work and promotion for the for anything to do with Charlene has shown it as a pristine, green, lush, Eden-like place, right?
Exactly.
And everything else
curious
is everything else is on fire.
Then. Because like that's our main city. That's like basically our Crystarium, our Kugane. So if it's destroyed, what's that going to be like for gameplay?
So the question is, will it really be our main city, or is it going to be more like the Crystarium, in that it's in our initial starter city that we go to, and then after that we'll go like probably somewhere on the moon or Thavnia as our other...
I think it will get ruined, but it will get ruined in such a way that the layout remains the same, so that regardless of which version of it you're in, as it were, then because
they've changed city models before around us, like Mordona and...
they've done it with Mordona. They've done it to a certain extent with
New Charlotte,
Idleshire?
yeah.
I was thinking a bit about. I saw you entering it earlier, Ven. Where was it? It's
Idleshire? Or
yeah, that's the one. Sorry, yeah,
That's
what I
where it
was
was.
thinking
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
that's what
because
you
it
said, I
didn't
missed
have
that.
like all those buildings the first time, right? It built up over time.
When we first got there, the tome shop was in a little tent basically, and then by the end it's in a building that's fully covered.
Yeah, we're going to do the reverse in Charlian.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Charlian Restoration?
I think I think Charlian is gonna get properly screwed over. I think it's gonna get properly wrecked, because it looks kind of too nice, too pristine. They think they're safe. They're they think they're kind of above everybody else, and I think it's gonna kind of take them down a peg or three.
Yeah, potentially. I would expand what you're saying to all the city-states. I think all the city-states are going to be ruined in some way. Something will happen in, whether it's only one zone or all of it or the surrounding areas. I think they're going to have to make zone changes in order to sell us on this, aren't they?
Oh, I just considered how they
possibly.
could do it. I don't know if you guys have actually walked around at the end of 5.3 when there's a star shower going on.
Yeah.
When you go to the inn in the Crystarium, they actually say, sorry, we can't get to your room because a bunch of people wanted to go see the star shower and they fell down the stairs and now there's like a pile of bodies there. So they just block off areas.
Interesting. Oh, that's
But
weird.
yeah, I mean, you've kind of got to redeem as well on your channel, Atrum, where I think pretty much sums up Charlian's chances of making it out of this whole thing unscathed.
Oh, the chance of success one.
Your probability of success is insignificant and dropping.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I agree with that.
Have you got it turned off? Because I've got the sound. No, never mind. I got the sound turned off. No, ignore me. I'm hearing you. Of course, we're hearing each other through Discord, not the stream. So
yes,
no,
of course.
just.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Try to do both, but that'd be confusing.
Well, you'd hear double sound, which would be weird, and then it might reverberate through the mic, and then it'd be like triple, quadruple. I'm just super impressed that I managed to get the avatars working, if I'm really honest with you. So
yeah, well done on that, by the way.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, so you have to do some finicky stuff with Discord string kit and CSS code just to get it to work, but it is kind of cool. Once you get it to work, I think what happened was it just needed refreshing with the Discord. I needed to refresh the source for it, and now it works, and you're there, and you're flashing up and down when you speak.
Anyway,
pull out all the stops. No, I tried, Mike. I tried.
Anyway, my really minor stuff that I've also got down, because I've got my pad here that I noted down stuff earlier, or last night, is just I think we're going to see, as far as the player base goes, I think we're going to see quite a bit of wailing about those who didn't remove materia from their belts and things like that. You know, those people who didn't get the memo or weren't playing at the time, and suddenly realise it's gone and complain even though they've had plenty of warning, because
so we haven't really
they even got the extra 2 weeks.
We haven't even kind of really talked about system changes or gameplay changes or anything like that. Yeah, we pretty much only talked about story and set pieces, right? And yeah, I think that will be a thing with the stat squish and the belt removal. I think there'll be a few disgruntled people that they've lost numbers, right? Because we're going into a new expansion, we're supposed to get stronger, and we're going to have less numbers. And people don't like less numbers.
Oh no, people complained when WoW did it. Well, WoW screwed it up quite famously. They got the maths wrong, and it resulted in everybody running out of mana all the time, constantly, especially healers. I know, I played one at the time. And they kind of had to fix the fix, as it were, because they very much got their maths wrong on at least parts of it, and how spirit worked in WoW. I mean, I know we don't really use mana the same way. It's not really so much of a problem, mana, most of the time, or certainly not in not sort of until you possibly get to things like Savage and that kind of thing.
So I think they laid the groundwork for this last expansion when they changed it to everybody has 10,000 MP.
Absolutely, yeah.
And because everybody fits into that thing, no matter how much you use, it's always the same. The only job that ran at a deficit was Red Mage at one point. Because their MP cost was slightly too high for some of their moves, so you'd always have to be using what's that refresh move called?
Lucid Dreaming.
That's the one. So they'd have to use Lucid Dreaming on a regular basis compared to the other jobs because they were just burning their MP too much. That was the only job that they got wrong initially during the last expansion. And they had to not nerf it but adjust it to get it right and make it not at a deficit to use that. So I feel like because they've already laid the groundwork for that and they thought about it at a time and they made everybody use Red Mage Man rise up, they laid the foundation to say, right, everybody's got 10,000 MP. Obviously they got rid of TP like 2 expansions ago.
I don't miss it.
Yeah, I don't miss TP
No,
at all.
I don't miss it either.
TP
The only part of me that misses it was when I played Bard and I could regen it.
Yeah.
Or Astro had that card back then too that could regen it. I think it was the Spire that did it.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking so long ago now. Like, it's sometimes we forget that, like, that, some of these changes we're talking about like 4 to 6 years ago. Like,
I can't believe it's only been like 2. It feels like it's been like a decade ago at this point.
I mean, we were talking about the WoW stat squish a minute ago, and how long ago was that? That was it's certainly pre A Realm Reborn, wasn't it?
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think because of rounding back round to the point is, I think, or I'm confident. I have confidence in SE to get this right first time. Obviously, people do have concerns, and most of the complaints will likely be my numbers are less. So the only time it becomes a little bit of a question is super low level because diminished returns, isn't it, once you go down the levels? So like instead, if you've got 10,000 and they're reducing it to 10%, it goes down a certain amount. But when you're at 100 and you reduce it by 10% to 10%, it's barely any difference realistically.
Yeah, and I'll be sure that they'll probably keep an eye on it since it's like the first time they're doing like a major stat squish. And I mean, Shadowbringers, they made adjustments within like a couple weeks just to balance everything out till the next patch.
Yeah.
I think the biggest complaint is going to come from people who are used to being able to run low-level content, or solo, pretty much, or doing raids or trials rather unsynced. Suddenly going to find it's an awful lot more difficult now that they've squished the stats together, because the advantage that you get from doing it unsynced is not going to be anywhere near what it was before.
Yeah,
and they've warned about this and everything, but I don't think a lot of people are really going to be realizing exactly what a massive change that is going to be for people who are used to running old content that way.
Yeah,
because it's going to be almost like running it normally. I mean, it's going to be easier than it would be otherwise, but you're not going to be able to necessarily survive things that would be an auto wipe, like we used to be able to. Because I mean, some of the old, wasn't it in 2.0, you wiped the curse, it did 10,000 damage to everybody, and that was more than anybody could have. Yes. Whereas now that is utterly trivial with the way the numbers are at the minute. It's going to go back to it being
like a pinprick. 10,000 damage right now is a pinprick. Which is what...
Megascape 12 Savage is going to be a nightmare again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if they're really reducing it to, 10% of current, that's not just an... I think that's the most jarring part, that it's such a drop. But they have to do it in order for the engine to survive and keep going in its current format. Because the numbers are getting too much to calculate.
Too big.
They had to change the memory tables, I think they said, for one of the fights, because the damage... I think it was one of the Savage fights. They had to adjust the numbers table or expand the numbers table slightly because it had gone over and it hit memory buffer limit.
And it would like reset back to 0 or something.
Yeah, it was like a bug, and they had to fix it, and they had to and they're like, we can only do that once, we can't do that again. So Like the expansion that they gave the memory buffer for it, or whatever it, or the memory usage of that particular instance to calculate the numbers. They could only make that extension change once. They could never push it any further. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to reduce the numbers now.
And I think we kind of glossed over this before, but there was the kind of the announcement that they put out sort of in the last 24 hours or so about what they're expecting at launch as far as queues and sort of general login and server chaos is concerned. Because I mean, they've even said that once we get over something like 17,000 people queuing in a particular data center, then it will actually stop anyone else from joining that queue. So they wouldn't be saying this unless they saw this as something that could quite easily happen. But they wouldn't be coming out with this ahead of time, because it's like they know that it's going to be bad.
So I
because
think
if they just thought there was a possibility it might be bad, then they'd shut up and maybe have something to go to say later. But they know it's going to be bad. And it's going to be especially bad for anyone who's on a trial at the moment.
So I
because
think
they've also come out and said, I believe that people with paid accounts will kind of be given priority access to those with those with trials.
Yes. So for the next 2 weeks, the trial's pointless. Is the bottom line. And what I do think is that 90% of this problem is going to be NA servers. I actually don't think it's going to be... It will be a problem, but it won't be as much of a problem on EU servers.
I'm on the same server as Rich Campbell and Asmongold, so it's probably going to be like a 5-hour queue for me.
So that was literally what I was about to say. The only factors that might do this is external factors and other streamers. So now, Phoenix in particular on the EU server is particularly susceptible, and unfortunately we're on Phoenix. We're still on Phoenix, and Ven's just joined as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
And the reason for that is because of Zeppler. Zeppler is on our server.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Zeppler is based on Phoenix, and because she's based on Phoenix, a lot of people obviously follow her, and that, because of the explosion of popularity she's got from dealing with Rich and Asmund on a more regular basis as well. Like, our server has been rammed for months now. But the other factor is that I think people aren't fully taken into account, even for the European servers, let's use the European server as a specific one. It all depends on which server Kiara joins. Because she's going.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, isn't it?
So, but on the basis that she's a Phoenix.
Oh.
Yeah, she's. Yeah.
I might need to make another alt.
I
might need to look up that thing about how to
log into a less populated server. Yeah. You can join a less populated server or something on your own data center or something like that. I haven't fully read that, but I saw that. But external factors, especially with HoloLive being given the green light to join now, and obviously, you guys are probably well tuned into that. You're both VTubers. You probably follow this a little bit anyway already, but. With them now having permission for that, if Gura logs in, for example, on a North American server, she's got 3.32 million followers at the moment. That's a lot of people. Now, bearing in mind, a lot of these people that are her followers probably already played the game, right? But at the same time, if she's bringing in 1 million more people, that's a lot of people to disseminate across the NA servers, and they'll all want to join on the same server as her, not just any old server.
Exactly.
Or at least the same data center.
And be logged in at the same time and try and get on stream.
Well, I don't think they'll mob out purely based on what happened with Pecora a couple of weeks ago. So Pecora went on the Japanese server. She got mobbed by loads of people. She kind of handled it quite well in terms of not blowing a lid about it. But the next day, literally, there was like a ban for 500 people that were jumping around her and stuff like that. And they were like, "Yep, we're not tolerating this. Get off." So I think after that, when Irish joined recently, she didn't get mobbed. So I think SE will have to keep an eye on this though and police it quite well.
The thing is, I think there's. I know there's a lot. I know there's plenty of overlap, but there is a slightly different viewership. So I think whoever is on there first is probably fairly likely going to get. An awful lot of people crowding round, because it's there's crossover, but it's still a different set of viewers. So I think it's still going to happen, even if they I mean, I'm sure they'll ask not to, but some people will think, if it's just me, it'll be all right. And there's going to be a lot of people thinking that because, again, especially if it's Guru who goes first, because it's an awful lot of people. But then again, it doesn't necessarily mean that people will be able to make a character on that server in the first place.
So if they do that, you can usually, like, if you're making a character even now, generally speaking, if you do it after like 11 p.m. until 7 or 8 a.m. In that time frame, you generally can make a character in that time frame because there's less people online in general.
Yeah, because I think as someone who was certainly watching earlier, I don't know if they're still in here, Isla, when they were creating a character, didn't they have to wait to create theirs as well?
Yeah, they had to wait like about an hour or so because I think it was also at the peak hours for you guys, but it's kind of hard to tell with me over here.
I think it was around about 10 p.m. or so, around about that, or maybe 10 to 11. So had to wait until it got a bit closer to midnight.
EU peak is between like 3 p.m. and 11 p.m.
Yeah, because like originally, before I was gonna have him like come over on my server and play with me with my main character, but ever since Asmongold and Rich came, Ether has been locked.
Yeah, of course it has. And you know, there's what almost 2 million subscribers between those two, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like Square Enix actually had to go and put a lock on the server. You can't make a character there. You can't transfer a character there.
Yeah. And I think it's not just those two, right? There's other characters as well who've gone over there. I can't think of any off that. Like Pyromancer's one of the ones I think recently gone over to it, hasn't he?
Pyro's over there. I think because I think originally the streaming server for the North America was on Primal because I think that's where Shenpai and Larry are and Kugan.
Yeah. But Ko recently went over, didn't they? Miyune, obviously Pyromancer. There's another one as well I'm trying to think of that I can't remember. Does a Jesse something.
Jesse Cox.
Yeah, he's recently transferred over, hasn't he, to join. I say recent, it's probably within the last 8-9 months.
I think it got locked like about 4 or so months ago. So
yeah. So there's a lot of people who are joining those servers around that kind of time frame, and as I say, with Hololivers being allowed to jump in, you know full well that it's going to get worse.
Oh yeah.
Because
it's great for the game.
In the
long run,
it is great.
It's going to be problematic, sort of in the short term.
It would be really great if they didn't have a semiconductor shortage.
Yes.
But unfortunately, there's a semiconductor shortage and a general chip shortage. So, by the way, I'm obviously not going to give away work secrets, but I work in an industry where we rely a lot on technology, developers and outlets and things like that sell parts and things like that. Do you think you can buy a CPU chip anywhere at the moment? Anywhere for anything, even like card machines and things like that? Where there's a massive shortage of those at the moment. And do you know why? It's because Elon Musk has bought all of the lithium deposits in the world recently.
Oh, somehow fantastic. I'm not surprised.
So, because Elon Musk's company, so it's all for Tesla, obviously. So they bought all of the world's lithium supply. And that basically means that there's a shortage of anything battery related, anything chip related, and all that sort of stuff. So yay! That's why we can't get servers right now. Blame Elon.
Yeah, we've been trying to build a second PC.
Nice things.
We've been trying to build a second PC. That explains why all the price has gone up really high.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of, I think Mobo asked a little earlier, when do we think we're going to get a new engine? So I don't think they'll do a new engine for this game until we drop PS4 support, and that's a long time away.
Yeah.
And the reason that we can wait that long is because they've just done the stat squish. Because if they didn't do this stat squish, there's no way in hell that the current engine would survive, right?
Right.
I mean, earliest I would say would be next expansion, because that's going to be a few years down the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
And at that point, people will probably actually own PlayStation 5s, and though that could also it depends how the whole tech shortage goes, and how easy it is to actually get a console to buy. as to whether or not they'd be able to do that, because that could, in theory, hold up, any kind of new engine as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I think, bearing in mind, like we always make the joke of like, PS3 died for this whenever some liquid comes on the screen, right? Or like the bite out of the bread and things like that, right? I don't think they've fully explored all of the little bits and bobs that they have already added. I don't think they've pushed the current engine to its absolute limit in terms of graphical side of things yet. And until they do, they don't need to touch it. Because in their mind at the moment, stability rules all. And at the moment, they're fighting with stability because of, obviously, servers being jammed up and things like that. So there's nothing really that you can do until you sort that problem out, really.
Yeah, and I mean, that's also one of the reasons why a lot of, like, the data center travel got delayed and everything, because he's really worried about the stability of the game.
Yes, exactly.
And it's again why we don't have more housing than we do at the moment.
I don't have a house.
I mean, let's not even start about Housing Extreme. That's again going to happen, even with this raffle system, which is good in a way because it stops players sitting there for 10 hours and just clicking a goddamn board.
Or the bots.
I got so lucky with my house.
I got very lucky with mine as well.
So lucky with it, because I didn't camp it at all. I got my house sort of late in the game because I switched servers. As you of course did yourself there, Atrum.
Yeah.
I switched servers and just sort of looked at quiet times. But yeah, just looked at quiet times. Sort of when I thought it wasn't going to be very busy, just thought I'll check it on the off chance, and saw a medium house in Mist available for sale. I had to sort of zone in, run to it. Nobody else there. Grab it, buy it, done.
Nice.
So
nice, very lucky.
Very, very lucky. But that was it was maybe about a month later that people did start actually really camping them ridiculously in earnest, and more and using bots more often than not to do it. So I think I kind of grabbed it just before everything kind of went completely nuts with everybody, camping the hell out of it. Although there was still some going on at that point as well.
I kind of had to compete with 10 people for mine, and I got very lucky. This is for the FC house, by the way, as well. So the FC house we have now, I got it by fighting off. So this was on the day when they unlocked freezing out people again. When when the inactivity thing was off for the entirety of the pandemic. So for the entirety of the pandemic, they turned off the inactive thing, and then when they re-enabled it on the day that all the houses became free, it was like a free-for-all for everybody to log in. It was like we're all waiting for that moment. And I remember going between a couple of zones, because I initially wanted somewhere in Kagani to try and get something there. But I obviously didn't get one there because we're not there.
Oh, I remember, because you got the day wrong originally, didn't you? I think you thought it was about 2 weeks earlier than it was.
Yeah, which was actually the day it was. I think it was because of a server reset or something like that. It didn't happen that day or something, so it was 2 weeks later because they had to do like a maintenance or something. And,
it might have been when the timer started.
Yeah,
it might have been a month before, something like that, when they actually turned on the timer again. And then they had to wait like a month for people to actually time out, as it were.
Yeah, and I had my route planned out and everything. I had to meticulously plan it out in terms of like what's my route. And I remember running through there, and I was like, I know the house I want. This is the one, or one of these ones. And I managed to get into Kogani, and just before I got to it, somebody touched the board like just before me, and I was really annoyed that I missed out on that. And then I was kind of left with because obviously everybody else had gone all to the other zones. You couldn't find anything in the other zones either. The only zone that nobody really wants to go to unless they really have to is, unfortunately, in Uldar. So, the Uldar housing is the least sought after, which is where we are, and it's fine, and it works as a house for the FC. With I've done a lot of decorating in there and whatnot, and blah blah blah. But yeah, and even then, when I zoned in, I was running towards the house. I saw the board, and there was like 4 other players running with me, and I saw 3 other players coming from the other direction, and we're all going for this board, and I managed to click it first and get the house. So it's like, It was great. It's
The
stupid.
house is internet, well, quite famous now because it was on Ven's stream last night.
Yeah, famous house. Woo! What do you think of it?
I like it. I like the bedroom room upstairs. The bedrooms.
Yeah, it's literally a bedroom. It's just
It's
a
a
room.
room of beds.
Bed's room. I suppose.
It's a room of beds. The idea was to kind of like section it off, and put loads. Use that one bed that's like a wall junction partition as well, and then sort of do stuff around there. But then there was some stuff that happened. I didn't log in much, so I moved house before I could do any of that stuff. But yeah, you can sort of see what I was trying to do, and then I kind of run out of time to do it, and I haven't really logged in much since then because I've been trying to stay off it on purpose before the expansion because I don't want to burn myself out. But yeah, the main floor when you come in, that's like pretty much done. I can't really put much else in there apart from pictures on the wall. So yeah, I think yeah, too busy with in real life house. You're right, Mike.
Yeah, because the outside looks beautiful, and you go in, it's like, oh, all those cool things all around, and you go upstairs, and it's like, why is there a bunch of beds?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not quite completed yet.
Oh, it's that kind of FC. I see.
Yeah.
And in the basement, it's like, why is there all this gold saucer garbage down here? And what the?
And why is there
a
a Del Mel down here? Yeah.
Yeah, Del Mel.
That was literally the first furniture item we got. When I first got the house, I happened to get it from, I think, a retainer on like a quest or something, and I got it as a retainer item, and I thought I'll put this down in the basement to scare the shit out of everybody when they come downstairs, because where it is now isn't where it was originally. I think I had this like head like over the stairs. But,
I can't remember.
Yeah, but the middle room I'm very happy with, apart from some pictures on the walls that need to go up. It's got all the stuff there, the shops and whatnot. But, yeah.
Yeah, I might have to make a room in the FC house because I kind of want an apartment again.
Yeah. Be pretty cool. You're more than welcome to.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, in terms of, can I have permission now to make my Minfilia shrine? Look, Mike, if you really want to make your Minfilia shrine, make it upstairs or in the basement, something. Or you can buy your own little room out the back and do it in your own little room, and we'll come visit it every now and then.
Remember, a whole room
You can
dedicated to Minfilia. You could be almost like a chapel.
No, I want people to see it. Well, people will
Well,
see it. You can unlock the
big
room.
one.
You can unlock the room.
You can have like a big shrine, and then you can have a tiny one. And just call that one Rin.
Yeah. Yeah. Make a main shrine in the basement, and then put a Reen shrine in one of the rooms that you can buy off the side, right?
It's the same thing, but it's just slightly oranger.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen my Hildebrand shrine, Atrum?
No, is that in your house?
It is in my house, yeah.
No,
It's a good shrine.
I haven't been to your house for a while. I vaguely remember visiting it a long time ago, but I haven't been in since.
Yeah, the outside is mostly a collection of random event items.
Yeah.
The inside is a little bit all over the place. You can see kind of where I've started with much of it, but then I've just kind of like, oh, I've got this item. Where shall I put that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish you guys could come see my apartment on Ether, but it's filled with a bunch of Namazu.
I think we've still got characters on Ether, right? Or unless you
Oh,
haven't
you should
any
come
more.
visit me.
Unless you haven't any more trashy, I don't know.
I don't know if I do, to be honest.
It's because we used to be, before the EU servers existed, we were on Sarkatanus. Is that on Ether or is that on?
Yeah,
Primal?
Sarkatanus. I also have another character on Sarkatanus.
Okay, yeah. So
my main is on Siren.
I've got one of my alternate characters on there. So we could go visit at some point.
You can come see my Namazu. I have one that lives in a bathtub.
Yeah. Nice. But so I have just realised that there's one character we didn't talk about at all. Zero, nada, and that's Fandaniel.
Danny.
We didn't really speak about Fandaniel at all. We spoke a little bit about Xenos. We didn't go into full detail about him either. But I think if we're sort of summing up what were our thoughts for characters in the main scenario quests, then I think we need to talk about them both, really. Thank you for the host, Bafuro. Much appreciated. And yeah, I think Xenos. I think Xenos is just two-dimensional, fight sexual.
Yeah, the only interesting thing I can think about Xenos is since he's a Reaper now, I'm kind of wondering if his avatar happens to be anyone specific, possibly maybe his dad, Varisiel Galvis.
Interesting. That would be pretty freaking cool, actually.
As far as Fandaniel goes, I mean, he's going to get killed. It's it. I mean, that's the only kind of way out.
Yeah.
Is he gets killed somehow, but you can't. He's not going to be. I don't think. He's not going to be a boss battle as he is. He's either going to sort of send something out at you and then be killed later in a cutscene, or he's going to have himself transformed into something. So it's not going to be a fight against him as he's seen at the minute. Either way.
Yeah, I think for me, Fandaniel is literally going to be 100% one way or 100% the other way, and the ends of the spectrum are his plan is bigger than we thought, and he is actually the big bad, or he's just a mad idiot. And that's the ends of the spectrum for me with Fandaniel. I don't know if that is the case.
Yeah, the only thing, my theory for Fandaniel just kind of went more off the rails than anything, and maybe it's because I've been doing the MSQ roulette a little bit too much, but I kind of wonder if, Fandaniel, if he's related to the ultimate weapon or specifically speaking, the Heart of Sabik.
Okay, interesting. Another crazy theory that I did see, I did discuss it on one of my recent YouTube videos, but there's a theory that he is actually not Ascian, but he lived at the same time as the Amaratines, but that he's not an actual Ascian, and that he's one of the people from across the sea, and that's why he doesn't care about the Ascians' goals.
Yeah, and he's kind of weird because his face sign is a little bit corrupted. It's weird.
Yeah. So it's almost like he's either he is an Ascian and he's just a lower rank Ascian who's now had the shackles removed, or he is maybe one of these people from across the sea that lived at the same time as the Amaratines, and they kind of abandoned him, right?
Am I remembering this wrongly? Tell me if I am, because I thought the idea was that he was Ascian, but that he was sort of partly sundered, but not to the same sort of extent as everybody else.
Which begs the
that
question:
he's missing parts of himself, but he's not sort of to the point where we are, where we've been split into sort of across however many worlds it was.
Yeah.
He is sort of partially sundered, so he's missing aspects of himself, which is so he still has sort of like multiple, sort of worlds worth of people in there, but he's kind of a couple of bulbs short of a box, as it were.
I mean, we know that anyway, and the fact that he took over the body that he's took over, we knew full well that he would fit in perfectly.
Nice to see his face again.
Fits like a glove in that body, right? And but it's again, it begs the question of if he's not quite under the same rules of sundering as the rest of the Ascians, was he part of that? Because we know from Shadowbringers that the Amaratines were kind of indifferent to the struggles of the rest of the world at the time. They were just like, oh yeah, it's just an investigation that we can go and look at. And the only person who really went out there was Azin, because he's the Traveller, which is us, everyone. That's us.
Oh, that's me.
That's us. That was us back then. And Azin was the only one who went out there and travelled to find out about it, and the rest of the Amaratines kind of didn't care. Now, if he's one of those people who came from that period of time, and he was abandoned by the Amaratines, he's not going to want to do. Even if he was sundered as part of what happened, he's not going to want to toe the line of the Ascians, which is why he's happy that the sundered are now, the unsundered are now dead, because he's not under their chain to not do anything. And even though he might have been useful, he might have just been the most useful non-Amaratine or Ascian. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. We've just gone to midnight and it's reset all the goals. Interesting.
Yeah, I noticed a little while ago that you said about, oh, I've met my monthly subs goal. It's like, not
It's
anymore,
like,
you haven't, mate.
Not
It's
anymore.
gone.
It's
You
now
meant
December,
that.
everyone. Happy December.
Still November for me.
Yeah. I'm still trying to push that follower count up to 100. I'm slowly getting there, but yeah. If you are new to the channel, I'm going to plug myself now and do that. Please follow, guys. Please follow. But yeah, with Van Daniel, the last theory that I saw is that actually he's older than the Ascians, because the Ascians weren't the first people on the star, right?
I honestly didn't remember much about that. That's kind of interesting.
So it could be that he's older than the Ascians in general. Thank you very much for the follow. And it could be that because he's older than the Ascians, but he might have got sundered, right? So he wasn't as powerful as them because he got sundered by accident with what happened, and he didn't manage to avoid it. But that he might be one of them, or he might be somebody else that is older than the Amaritines. Which is, I thought was interesting. I think it's probably you're going into tin hat territory a little bit, but I thought it was an interesting angle. That could be something as well.
Yeah, because I was more leaning towards he was probably in relation to like the ultimate weapon in the heart of Sabik, because
I do actually like that theory as well. That's a very interesting line.
Emmett Selk made the Allegan Empire. Allegans made the ultimate weapon, and then also what was it? Logriff was the one that became the first like Sin Eater. He turned into basically like a weapon almost.
Yes, it was Logriff, wasn't it? Because Gaia's character was Mitron.
Yeah, and then so he became like a ship almost, like how the weapons are.
Yeah.
And the when I think of Fandano, he's like, oh, chaos, I want to kill everyone, and the only thing I can think of is such devastation.
Well,
and the ultimate weapon.
Especially when you think that the Allegans were messing with Void Scent as well and going into the Void, which is the 13th shard. So
Right, and then the ultimate weapon ended up getting powered up in that MSQ by Zodiark. La Brea used Zodiac's power to charge him up, so I kind of wonder how much in relation is the ultimate weapon to Zodiark and the Ascians.
Yeah, and it could be that you're right, actually, because that's a very interesting theory that he could be the Heart of Sabik, or the representation of that. Because we don't actually, I don't think we've ever actually seen his sign before. All the other Ascians in the past have had a sign that has represented the Zodiac signs from 12, right?
Yeah, the star stone things.
Whereas Van Daniel doesn't, does he? I'm pretty sure. Or if he does, I don't remember.
No.
Oh, his face one is distorted, but I can't think of I don't know if he was actually part of the convocation at all. That I was thinking like the little job stones.
Van Daniel wasn't touted as one of the convocation that we're aware of.
Well, I think there was like one that was kind of speculated, because I think there's one that's like cracked and like the memories are really weird in it, which could represent Van Daniel because he's a little bonkers.
Well, he's definitely cracked.
Yes, just a little bit.
But because the ultimate weapon was especially manipulated a lot by the Ascians, especially like ones like Emmett Selk and La Brea, the ones that really wanted the rejoining, which could explain why he hates them and doesn't want the rejoining.
Yeah. Interesting. It's an interesing.
I have to think there's like some sort of angle because
my mind is kind of going around it at the moment.
Atrum, I think you muted. I don't know if something happened to your mic.
Has something happened to my mic?
Or
Has it?
Can other people hear him, or is it
I
just
can't
me?
hear him.
Let me check. So it works in. Okay, so they can hear me on stream, but you guys can't hear me.
Chat can hear him?
Okay.
Oh, chat can hear him. It's just must be Discord.
Huh.
How about now?
It doesn't say he's muted at all. That's weird.
1 sec. Let me. Okay. Well, you guys can still speak. Hang on. Let me type it. Talk amongst.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
At moment. Lol.
Maybe he needs to try leaving the channel and then coming back in. Maybe that'll help.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Can you hear me now? Better? Not better? Not good? Or have I not? Interesting. Da-da-da-dam. How odd. Let's go with... Something to think about it, isn't it? Oh, that's weird. Well, you guys can hear me, so that's kind of cool that you guys can still hear me. Yeah, it probably is time to reset Discord. It's doing like a weird connection thing. Let me see if I can... let me see if I can just... leave that one for a moment. Let's do this. Let's disconnect, and then we'll jump back in. And I could restart Discord, to be fair. Let's do that. Let's do Discord. There we go. And then we'll go back in. Now can
Oh,
you
are
hear
you
me?
back? Yeah, I can hear
there
you.
you go.
Hello. Oh god, that's so loud in my ear now this time.
Okay, do you know what it was, or did you just kind of turn it off and on again?
Yeah, I just turned it off and on again.
Okay. The next step is percussive maintenance. Hit it with a hammer.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. As long as everybody else can still hear me as well. They could all hear me still, and that's fine. Somebody do the incident tag, because we've gone 0 seconds without an incident. In fact, let's see if we can. There you go.
Yeah, but you went
There we
went
go.
about 2.5 hours, nearly 2.5 hours without scuff.
Yeah, we only had a little bit of scuff as we were discussing like Fandaniel, which we all hate anyway. So.
I have to think like there's something to him because I think it was at FanFest. Ishikawa said that Fandaniel was her favorite character in Endwalker, so I have to think there's something, just nothing we've seen yet.
Which is why I'm kind of intrigued by these. Thanks for that, Mike. Which is why I'm kind of leaning towards this. You know, he's either not actually properly Asian, whether that be Heart of Sabik, which is a possibility, or from across the sea.
Your
of the
probability of
Amorines.
success is insignificant and dropping.
Thanks for the sound alert. And yeah, or he's older than the Asians. I quite like all those angles potentially, and we're obviously going to have to wait and find out what it is. But
there's just not much to him yet.
No, and if Ishikawa likes him that much, then he's obviously going to play a massive role, right?
And again, he's kind of a little bit like Xenos. He's a bit kind of one note at the moment, isn't he?
So far,
he's kind
yeah.
of like sort of stereotypical. Aha! I'm going to destroy the world because I can, and it'll be fun.
Well, I mean, Emmett Selk is one of the most beloved characters in FF14, if not FF now. He was voted quite high, wasn't he, in recent polls and stuff. But when we first met Emmett Selk, he was quite one-dimensional initially.
True.
So I hold out hope that they can add some flesh to the bones.
Yeah, I'm imagining it at least like the chaos and like killing everyone talk is maybe slightly as some sort of facade, and he has some ulterior goal that we just can't even bear, like they even like connects at this point.
Yeah, exactly. We got the very.
Speaking of Emmett Selk, do you think Emmett Selk and Grahatia are related? Because Grahatia has the Allegan Eye, and Emmett made the Allegan Empire.
No, because he was given it by Una and Dogo, right?
Well, he had some of the blood at first because he had the Allegan Eye, but he had the heterochromia going on.
Okay. Yeah.
So I kind of wonder how much Asian he is compared to like Xenos. Then again, I think Xenos is a lot more closely related because Emmett's his grandpa, isn't it?
Yes. So Xenos is directly related to Asians because he's got that Asian genome, as it were. Emmett Selk got the genome in some girl. and he was like living one of his thousand lives and siren children. So, yeah. There's definitely a lot of angles you could come at from this. Is he just a madman? Is it something deeper? Is he going to have, more of a character development? And if Ishikawa has said that and she likes him so much as a character and it's one of her favourites, then there must be more to come. And he's not just one-dimensional.
Because this is the same person that wrote Emmett and also Frey, so...
I mean, it could just be how unhinged that he is. and it's just the the voice actor's performance or something like that means he's because it's because we've not really had a villain at the moment until him who just wants to watch the world burn. There hasn't been
No,
a
everybody's
villain
had a
like that in
motive.
Final Fantasy 14 at the moment. They've all had something that they want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas he doesn't really. He just kind of wants to. He just wants to make it hurt.
Well, I mean,
pretty much.
Xenos just wanted to hurt us specifically.
Yeah, because I think the closest villain to Fandano that we ever had was Nail Von Darnus.
Kind of, yeah, I suppose, but he was
But
tempered.
like most of her like development was like before she went crazy, kind of thing.
Yes, but I think Nail Von Darnus wanted the power in order to subjugate Eorzea, right? Didn't necessarily want to make the world burn, but then they became tempered by the Hamlet, right?
Yeah.
And that's what sent them crazy. Maybe.
I think that's how it went. It's been a while since I've done the Binding Coil raids, and
yeah.
Fandaniel reminds me a little bit of. I mean, he's appeared in this as well, but it reminds me a little bit of Kafka from Final Fantasy VI.
I mean, the fact that Kefka's music's playing in the background right now is perfect for this conversation.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
He is thoroughly unhinged, and I mean, Kafka kind of in Final Fantasy VI, spoiler alert, ends up kind of half destroying the world. It's certainly never the same as it was previously. And there he is. But yeah, it's never the same as it was before. I mean, it hasn't gone the whole, hog of, sort of complete and utter destruction.
Yeah.
But, there's definitely similarities there.
For sure, yeah.
And that kind of also ties in with how like a lot of the Garlean Empire is actually inspired by like the Magitech that's in 6 as well.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So this is the weird thing, like they like paying homage to the other FFs, but actually it's not just homages. They're actually key elements to the story. Like the FF4 parallels to what's happening are massive, but also there will be a lot of FF6 stuff as well.
Yeah, it's interesting how they blend them, because in a way they've done a little bit of 4 before with the Heaven Sword release because of all the Dragoons and how I think what was it, Kain in 4? That was a Dragoon?
Kain Highwind, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how like they tie in and blend all these like different themes. So kind of makes me wonder. Now I'm thinking about like, yeah, he is kind of like Kefka, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So there's Kefka-esque moments from him. I've just loved that the piano started playing as I've said that. So there's Kefka-esque moments from him for sure, and I think that's the kind of villain they're trying to paint him to be. And as we know, Kefka did have more depth than just I want to destroy the world, ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like he's animated like him. He's like crazy evil like him. They're both clowns.
Yes. Yeah, basically, yeah. Whereas I think Xenos is kind of more like meant to be our mirror in terms of like FF4. We've become the paladin. We're on that. Going from Dark Knight to Paladin is for the Warrior of Light. Not as much of a transition, I suppose, as FF4, but I think it's just like the iconic representation of it that it's supposed to be representing of, we're going to try and redeem the world and save the world at the same time and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to do it as Paladin because, we're going to protect everything.
It's
and there's also been a lot of themes. Yeah, there's been also like a lot of themes of redemption lately, especially in the post Shadowbringers quest with how them are atoning for their like sins against like the beast tribes and
yeah exactly. So Melwib's little storyline, Fordola's storyline, Estinian to a smaller extent I think as well, because he's done some, I know he was possessed by Nidal, but he's done some crazy shit.
Yeah, and then they brought up the Crystal Braves again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of uniting everybody together to sort of form a united front against the whole tower thing. Pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else is pretty much on the same page. I mean, as you said, the Garleans aren't necessarily there yet, but looks as increasingly likely that they'll get there.
Yes. I think that is the case, to be honest with you.
Actually, speaking of the Crystal Braves, so Charlian, likes to stay neutral all the time. What do you think, Fortuno, he probably knows, about Alphino's escapades with the Graves and how they took over Ul'dah and all that?
Yeah.
What do you think he thinks about that?
Oh, he's going to be less than impressed, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's he's going to be massively unimpressed by that. But yeah. So, if there's an overriding theory that you've got for as like your say if we do like a top 3 bold predictions kind of thing, what would your guys top 3 things that you think or hope happen in the expansion as part of the story?
I think mine would probably be, my biggest prediction is that definitely Alphino and Alisaie's mom will become Anima, and that will have to do something with the protection of Charlayan.
Yeah.
Moon is Egg, definitely is up there.
Moon is Egg.
And I think Heidelin's heart is under Silvertear's leg.
Okay.
I would say my 3 would be. I've got 2. I'm going to have to have a quick think about the third one. Is that, like I said, I think old Charlian is going to become ruined Charlian, at least to a certain extent. It's going to get done over somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That the final boss of the expansion is going to be, if not Heidelin, then some kind of personification of the light, as it were, in some respect. And that quite possibly the moon is not just a moon, it is. There's something lying dormant, whatever that may be. As you say, it may well be Zodiac, but there's something lying dormant in the moon, kind of egg-like as there was with Bahamut in 1.0.
Yeah. Okay. I guess then for me, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to lose 3 Sarns. Is one of my predictions that we're going to lose 3, and I think it'll be. If I was to name them specifically, I would say it's probably going to be Kryl, Alisaie, and Thancred.
I hope it's everyone but Urianger, just to upset
Yeah.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
And so that's one of them. And then I think that Anima is going to be Xenos' mother. I still think it's going to be a character from the main scenario quest that it's going to be a character of. And I also think, as my final ballsy prediction, as part of the very end of it, at Silvertear Lake in the battle, we save the world by dying. I think the Warrior of Light dies, and then we're brought back by, obviously, some bullshit afterwards. But I think our character will die as part of the main scenario quest.
We fake our death and we just go vacation in Mericidia for a bit.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Now,
Either way, some bullshit.
I actually think, I do think that in order to win, we must die. But then we're brought back by some other means, obviously, because the game must continue, right? So that'll be a thing. I think we sacrifice ourselves to win, and the final battle at Silvertear Lake.
Oh, I can totally see Graha being the one that, like, if we died, to bring us back.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Or
He's still got some of that power left.
Dive in front, or go in instead, or something like that.
Yeah. But has anybody else got any other points they want to bring up for the finishing up, or?
I think that's a good place, unless chat has anything.
I think I got everything on my list, actually.
Yeah.
Besides, Lise does nothing again. That was on my list. Lise does absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, Lisa's going to be useless. I don't even count her in
background.
any predictions because she's just city-state person.
Yeah, no
That's like a
longer
free space on
Scion,
your
really.
bingo card.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you know what? I didn't actually. We barely touched on that Azim in the convocation. I know we sort of discussed it in part, but the convocation being reunited seems to be a theme that is going to be happening, right? It's been hinted, and that'll be part of one of the battles. In fact, that's what I'm going to go with. Warrior of Light dies to save the world, brought back by the Convocation, who it's their last act.
Do you think Tatsu was originally a part of the Convocation? She just worked in finances for them.
she was she handled all the world's finances from her little workstation. Absolutely.
And then gets demoted to receptionist and then works her way back up again.
That's why she's so powerful, but she's so good with numbers.
Yeah. And there
That's
goes
where she started,
Agrius.
wasn't it? In 2.0, wasn't it? Basically reception.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did all the paperwork.
It's revealed she really is the final boss, but she's one of the Convocation. That'd be hilarious.
I would love it.
Yeah. Okay. Any more for any more? We've managed to get 2 hours and 50 minutes out of, well, bit of scuff, 5 minutes scuff here and there, but, it's...
Maybe Tataru joins the Hildebrand quest lines.
Wow.
Oh, what do you think the Hildebrand questline can be? Because, he's coming back.
He won't be in the main scenario quests, but he'll be...
He should be.
Chat, tell Atrum, my FC leader, that he has to buy me the Minfilia painting for gifting him. Okay, you got yourself a deal, Mike. That's fine. I will buy you the Minfilia painting. I mean, I already gave you the coaster with her on it, right? Because I went to the Aussie Cafe when I went to Japan last. Every time I've gone to the Aussie Cafe. And one of the coasters I got had like Minfilia quite prominently on it. I was like, there you go, Mike. You can have that. Present from me. I think he's got a little shrine at home. He must have, just of Minfilia. Yeah, I think we can wrap that up about there. So, yeah, guys, get your socials and your yourselves out there. Where can everybody find you guys? If you want to go first, Trashy.
Well, I mean, you can pop me a shout out in chat.
I can very much do that. Yeah.
It is very much. It's all on there. It's all on there. I do have a Twitter as well that I do use on a regular basis. I usually stream, or when I do from can be any day of the week. When I do, it's usually from just after 9:30 p.m. UK time. That's GMT or UTC. So about half an hour before we've started here today. Can vary on weekends. Again, sort of generally do variety stuff. I'm still slugging my way through Dark Souls at the moment.
You keep killing all
Most
the
of the
cute
way
little
through it now.
Creatures.
Yes, killing all the creatures that Ven thinks are cute, like
They're so
the nightmarish sort of fire-breathing things in Blighttown, and virtually anything else in the game, really, that Ven would like to sort of take home and generally cuddle and pet and feed and generally raise and have running around her house, causing chaos and destroying. Like,
You cannot
life.
tell me that the skeleton puppies weren't adorable. They were so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And yourself, Ven? Where can everybody find you on all the socials?
Hey kid, could I get one of those shout outs again? Because I'm also
can.
mostly on
Push-
Twitch.
Of course you can.
Thank you. I'm mostly on Twitch. I usually stream. Right now, I moved back my hour, so I do about 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to usually around 5:30 p.m. Or just kind of it varies. But right now, I'm going through finishing up Kingdom Hearts 3 and doing the DLC. I do plan on Friday. To wake up very early. It's gonna be 2 a.m. for me to play Endwalker and sit in queue for 6 hours. I'll be starting Red Dead Redemption and Yakuza, so I'm mostly on there. I do have a Twitter. Yep, there it is. And we also just got a Discord server made by two of my followers, Bofro and Dorito made me a lovely Discord just the other day. And I'm super grateful, so we got that. Yeah, there's Bofro. But you can usually just find me on Twitch. I'm here most of the time. I'm still learning Twitter.
That's okay. I'll just give Trashy the same treatment there as well. You can find Trashy on Twitter as well. At display at Trash Panda. And VenVen is at Almighty VenVen.
And then very kindly made and gifted me my profile picture on,
this one,
on
right?
Twitter as well. That's the one, yeah.
Ah, so there you go. Not only VTuber extraordinaire, but also artiste.
I'm so glad you like it.
But yeah, so that's where you can find those guys on Twitter. I will post my socials down in there. If you are new to any of the people in the chat today, or on the stream today, if you're here for VenVen or Trashy and you've never been here before, I'd obviously appreciate any follows on Twitter or on obviously Twitch as well. And I do have a YouTube channel as well. It is only small, but you know, I've got a few FF14 related videos on there, so if you could go and check those out, that'd be amazing. And yeah, I'm pushing for that 100 followers on Twitch at the moment. We're at 85. We're getting there slowly.
You'll get there.
Well, I obviously lost 2 months recently with my move that went horribly wrong. But
I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think if I'd have been doing it for that entire 2 months, I'd have probably been not so bad, right? But I'll put these up here. There we go. There we go. See, I have a thing. I have a YouTube thing. So yeah, I'm on YouTube. Go check out my videos. I've got some FF14 related stuff on there if you want to go and check them out. And yeah, I'm on Twitch 3 or 4 times a week is the aim at the moment. Obviously, I've recently started back again after my move and finally getting my internet fully installed again. I've got my PS5 and my capture card set up now as well, so I'm going to dive into a bunch of PS5 games on stream. Obviously, Final Fantasy 14 is going to come first, so from Friday night, I'm going to be... So, unfortunately, I am at work first, so I can't log in first thing in the morning, which is kind of a shame, but never mind. But yeah, from probably about 5 PM my time, I should be home, and then I'll probably be online about 6 PM. We're going to dive right in, and we're just going to go all the way through. It's obviously going to be a pizza takeaway night, right?
Dependent on queues as well.
Dependent on queues as well. So I might start queuing at 6 and we'll be in at 7, right? But
Turn it
yes.
on as soon as you get in, mate.
Yeah, probably will do, to be fair. But so yeah, you can obviously catch me on here. I don't know whether Trashy is going to do the same on release day.
I haven't decided yet. To be perfectly honest, I've not quite decided. We'll see.
You don't want to stare at a queue.
Have the time off, so
Yeah,
I might even try and do. Well, I can't do something really from when it comes out, and if I do it, I actually have parents visiting that weekend.
So
it's not the best timing as far as I'm concerned, which is I would definitely have done it otherwise, but we'll see. I haven't decided yet.
So as Mike is kind of alluding to there, I can't actually even have like a massively late night that night because we're out early the next morning for an away game for the Albion. So I'm over in Coventry for the whole day, so I actually miss out a whole day pretty much of FF. It depends how bad I am.
Football team, Ben.
Yeah, that's a local football team. But they depends how I'm feeling after the end of that because I've got to get one of the other people home at a certain time. So. If I'm feeling alright, like if it's about 6-7 PM, I might still jump on for a bit on Saturday night. But I'm definitely going to do Friday night, maybe Saturday night. I might during the day on Sunday, but Sunday night, I'm all good. And Monday, Tuesday, I managed to bag off work. So, yeah, I'll be streaming all day Monday and Tuesday, hopefully, to finish off the story and round it off. Because, let's face it, we need to do this quickly, right? Because there's going to be spoilers galore everywhere, I feel, with this one.
Yeah, I probably won't look at social media for at least a week until I'm through everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the actual whole story ends with this. There's no afters. There's no sort of follow-ups to do with the story. This is it.
Yep.
When it's out,
point
that's
O is the story.
That's it. There's no extra stuff. No sort of dragging into 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, etc. Or whatever we're up to now, whatever version we're up to now.
Yeah.
But there's none of that. They've said it's all going to finish. This is going to be it for this story, and then any subsequent patches are going to be starting on something entirely new.
Yep, absolutely. That's why we need to get in there quick and get that shit done fast, man.
Yeah, it might also be worth it to change your chat log in game so you have one that's just like your party, so you don't like see someone spoiling and shout.
I've never really had that problem in the past, but given how full our server's been recently, I might very well do that this time.
Oh, I saw someone do it in Shadowbringers about like a couple weeks after it released. They spoiled who the Crystal Exarch was.
I mean, let's be real. Did anybody really need that spelled out for them?
There is that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, come on, man, don't spoil it just in case.
Yeah.
He didn't have the ears or the tail, right?
Yeah. True. I suppose. Yeah. But he did not. No, you're quite right. He did have a tail. He did have a tail, but it was just covered. It was covered under the robes. So
he duct taped it to his leg.
Yeah. Well. We think so, anyway. I mean, we think that was his tail, right?
I was gonna say, that wasn't his tail.
Yeah.
Oh God, please be his tail.
And on that note, and on that bombshell, we're gonna probably end the stream there just now. Yeah, as you can see, my socials are up on the screen as well for Twitter. I don't have many followers on Twitter at the moment. It's more difficult to get followers on Twitter, I feel, so far, but obviously, hopefully I can boost that up at some point. I'm absolutely shilling myself at the moment, but you got to do that, otherwise nobody will follow you. But yeah, anybody's always welcome to come in. I'm kind of a variety streamer most of the time, actually, but FF14 is my main game, so I'll always come back to FF14 whenever when I'm in a lull or I just want to relax or something. FF14 is the game I play, but I will play other games as well. I'll be doing like I've got Demon Souls lined up. That's going to be my first Souls game. We're going to do that. I've got Bloodborne as well, and then I've got like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've got Ghost of Tsushima. We've got Tales of Arise. We've got what else? We've got FF7 Remake. I still haven't played it, but because I didn't have PS5 until now, and I didn't want to get it until I got a PS5. But yeah.
Demon Souls, are you playing the PS3 version or the PS5 version?
I am playing the PS5 remake version, or remaster version.
Ooh.
And by the way, Mike, I've just checked my channel. Thank you very much for the follow.
There you go. Nice. Guys, make a podcast. I would listen. Well, maybe we could do something in the future for that. Maybe we could do like a post MSQ show at some point, if you want it.
What you mean, where everything I've said turns out to be wrong and I just have to sit here in shame whilst the two of you sit there being right?
Well, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't both be right about everything, right? Because we had a couple of different views, but yeah.
We can just start the Urianger fan club.
Or we could all be sitting here like drinking into our cups because we're all wrong.
You two will be over there in the smug corner. I'll be on the other side of the dunce cap.
I never need an excuse to go into the smug corner. You know this.
Can I be dumb and smug?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys were up for something like that, we could do that again in a couple of weeks' time or something.
Yeah, it'd actually be cool to like do it after the MSQ once we're all done and see which what of our predictions were right and what we didn't even expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll have a look at something then. Well, yeah. Of course, he's going to talk about me. You know what? You let him.
Any chance he gets.
You fuel his delusion, and that's fine. But we're going to finish then, guys, and we'll have obviously a post-show chat between ourselves afterwards. But yeah, it's been great having you both on. Thank you very much for coming, guys. It's been a very, very good discussion, I feel, and it's nice to meet you properly as well, VenVen.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
I'll obviously try and drop in a little bit more on your channel when I can.
Yeah, thank you for having both of us.
And yeah, obviously Trashy will still keep coming in as well. But okay, let's go over to let's go and raid someone. So it looks like Schleb's just come online. We could go raid Schleb. That's somebody we could go and jump in for there. I don't really have a specific raid message or anything, but feel free to drop raid messages and stuff in there when we get there. And yeah, I'll hopefully see some of you in the near future. Look forward to playing the expansion. I'm sure the other two do as well. And yeah, maybe we'll arrange something in a couple of weeks' time for our post MSQ dissection and review of our predictions that are all going to be wrong.
It's all wrong.
Yeah.
Urianger is anima.
Oh no! No, we can't have that because all the spell names will be like just off the screen with the words.
Oh,
But,
good God.
Yeah. Yeah. Right then, guys. We'll see you all later, and yeah. Say bye, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.